overcome. That one was 21. Here's Benny going to the end zone. Can he make the catch? Yes!
And had confidence that Trebek could make the adjustment on this beautifully thrown pass.
Throws one up the seam. It's caught. Elijah Moore in the open. Left sideline to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, 10, 5. Pylon. Touchdown. Elijah Moore streaks down the left side of the field.
O'Brien looking right and left. A pass into the left corner. Touchdown. 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 Al Toon has a touchdown.
They give it to Curtis, my favorite Martin. Touchdown. J-E-T-S-S-S-S.
From the 24, O'Donnell from the shotgun, Deshaun Johnson, throw the damn ball! The corner, touchdown, tie game at 24 apiece.
Revis comes up with his first breakup. Well, here's the matchup. You see Johnson gives him the stick to the outside, then gets inside, and that's perfect position. The big guy inside the shorter one, but Revis getting in. That's why he's the best.
You know, we got a really good thing going, and I am not going to let the fucking Jets, excuse my language, ruin this. Yeah. We built something here, and you know what? I'm going to continue to grow it. We're going to continue to grow it, and we're going to get better than ever. Now, I'm going to start here. I don't want freaking Robert Saleh freaking keeping receipts like he's a fucking troll on Twitter. Okay? I now, and I never do this. But this is absurd. I want to hear him freaking have a game plan. I was floored when I heard this. I never ripped the coach like this, but come on. This has got to stop. It's like Rex Ryan did this shit, okay? But he won at least. Win. I'm sick of this. I'm starting to get really agitated now. Just keep your mouth shut, coach. And let us, but you're not going to win with us. You are not going to win with us, for sure. And I don't even want to get into the game yet because I'm just so disgusted. My whole body's numb. First of all, you know, prayers to everybody on 9/11 yesterday. I got up at 5:30. Not that I need to tell you guys this. I got on my knees, you know, and reflected a little bit. And guys, I couldn't even sing the national anthem after everybody started singing it. I lost it. You know, that was a surreal moment. Like, New York is just a special place. And, you know, I will never forget. And I'm going to continue to treat it with dignity and pride and everything in the community. So as far as the game, I'll get into it. I know there's a lot of hands. I don't even kind of want to, my whole body is still numb. It's numb. It's numb. I've been going for 30-something years, and I was walking out of the stadium yesterday, and I told my friend Joe, I said, bro, I can't take this. I can't. And I know if they win next week, it'll all go away, but I need answers. So, Tanad, I'm going to go to you real quick. And then, guys, we got about 15 minutes until our guest comes in. So, Tanad, go, and then we'll make our quick points, and then go from there. Welcome to the Jet Lounge, 8:30 takeoff. Take flight with Petey, a.k.a. Petey Pavlo, and Tanad, a.k.a. T Faded of the Jet Lounge. Tanad, you ready? If Tanad can't go, Sack, go.
All right, look, I'm going to try to make this real quick. You already know how I felt about Saleh. I've been saying it with the bullshit motivational speeches that he gives with all this stuff, and I keep saying that. I get nasty DMs, not too nasty, but DMs where I'm wrong about it. He's more like a motivational speaker at this point than a coach. Okay, first you know, with the whole thing, and I always say wake up in the morning, best. We already know them. All gas, no brakes. It's like, no gas, all broke. But then he's with this receipt crap. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You keeping receipts? And it was actually worse than that. I don't know if anybody heard him on Michael K, but he went on to say that, you know, when we're good, he wants to shove it down their throat. You know, the people, forget about the receipts. The people that he has receipts on, shove it down their throat. You got to replay that on YouTube. And then he went on to say that anybody that was off the boat, you guys are not welcome back on.
Well, I heard that.
Now, there were people like, wait a minute, I've been a fan for freaking 40-something years, and you say we're critical on the team, and you're not allowed. Who are you to tell us you're not allowed back on? You're a new freaking, like we would say back in a new jack. Like you just showed up on the scene last year. Where the hell were you? What do you mean we're not allowed back on or this or that and all this bullshit? First of all, we're the ones. You know what, guys? Players come, players go. Everybody, coaches come and they go. We're the only ones that stick here. Even jerseys come and jerseys go. Everything changes except for us. We're here. So this guy, I was saying it to myself like a crazy man before. I was like, if you really want to piss this fan base off, dude, welcome to New York. And if you want to piss off the New York fans, just say shit like that about shoving it down the throat. I got receipts. And he's not have receipts from fans, I guess. Who knows what he means? Maybe more about the media. But look, I sent in our group chat that thing what Carlton said, and I'm not a fan of Carlton, but what he said was right. You know, you want the receipts? You suck. He said, I mean, I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's all talk and no play. You know, I got to come up with a catchphrase for him. So he's all talk at this point. And you know what? It becomes the act gets thin. People say Rex Ryan's act got thin. Yeah, and later on in his tenure, it did. His whole thing, it started to lose substance towards the end. But the guy won. People are like, oh, I hate Tannenbaum. Oh, it wasn't Rex Ryan. It was Mangini. It wasn't Tannenbaum. It wasn't Tannenbaum. It was someone else. And all this bullshit. But the last time we were relevant, I mean, like really relevant, was these guys. So, you know what? Big ups to fucking Rex Ryan. Big ups to Tannenbaum. And you know what? I don't care about this whole, oh, yeah, he mishandled Geno Smith and this. I remember crazed out of my mind with my brother in those AFC Championships games. And I was watching the Brett Favre highlights. I was actually watching it this morning. Brittany was here, Aiden, and we were watching. I was like, that's a quarterback. That's a quarterback. And forget about Brett Favre. We've had other, but I'm like, look at how he operates the offense. Look how he operates the offense. I mean, I haven't seen, I have to keep going back to that because you watch him operate the offense on, you know, you can watch on YouTube in HD, bro. You didn't see throws like that. I mean, me and Anthony were reviewing it one time. We were like, wow, look at that shot. Oh, look at that throw. I mean, we deserve more as a fan base. I'm sick of it. And like PD said, we got a good thing going on here. It started from a space. And now, you know, all the people, I have receipts on them. The people that used to troll me back in the day, you want to talk about receipts? They all said, oh, look at this guy, Sack. What a joke. He thinks he has a brand. Oh, well, wake up now. So there's my receipts, people. And you know what? I'm going to shut up now. This is your show. I want you guys to enjoy. But I'm telling you right now, he's going to lose the fan base really quickly. He keeps up with this garbage.
That's fine, bro. Guys, just I'm going to get to everybody. I don't know who was in order. I'm just going to go around the clock.
Hey,
Rusty, go ahead.
Petey,
Yo, you were first.
said
You were
that
first
Brad
anyway.
would go first.
You go and then Brad.
Okay.
Ladies first.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you got in.
Oh, Brad's good with me. Don't worry, but shout out to Brad.
Okay. I wanted to say this much. I've been talking about how bad they were and what I thought was wrong and how disappointed. But you know what? The game's over. I can't change it. I can only hope that the next one is better. And I'm going to try and look forward. I'm not happy with what happened. And yeah, I saw a lot of things that should have. But there were some positives from the game. I mean, the first half, the defense looked pretty good. And we haven't had a good defense in a while now. So that's a positive. I also want to remind everybody that last year, our offensive line, which everyone afterwards said was like a top 10, top 15 offensive line, looked like crap the first 5 games. They had Zach running for his life the whole time. If they had been as good as they were at the latter part half of the season, who knows what Zach would have accomplished. But that's exactly what's happening now, is that offensive line has not had time to gel because we're constantly changing their positions back and forth and who's going to be there. Once they have a chance to play together for a few games, I think they're going to get better, and I think they will. So I don't know who will be the quarterback at that time, but I think there are some positives for that. I'm going to pass this on now to Brad because I want to make sure he gets in. I can talk.
Pete, can I just say one quick thing to that real quick? And then I'll take myself off speaker.
You think I'm going to tell you no? Of course.
Well, let me ask you this. We're not the only team that have these issues. There's a lot of teams. Like, not everybody has 5 all-pro offensive linemen. There's a lot of people that their tackle was out. Their best tackle was out, the Ravens. I mean, we don't need – I know we want to draft offensive linemen every year, and that's a good thing to do. That's why also people draft quarterbacks every year, and people say, no, they don't. Yeah, they do. Look at the Redskins. The Redskins took Kirk Cousins and took Griffin in the same draft, if you quite remember. There's a lot of GMs out there that say you take a quarterback every year until you get one. And you know what? I'm not opposed to that. Because even if you have Wilson, you're not going to get rid of him. But if you draft another quarterback, then the best one plays. You keep drafting quarterbacks until you get the right one. And I'm just saying, it's like, we're not the only ones with this issue. This all boils down to coaching. I don't think we're the only ones that have offensive line issues. It all has to do with coaching. And you know what? I think the Giants got a better coach than we do. Okay? And I don't care about just one win. I wanted Daboll when we were looking for a head coach. We just didn't get him. He would have been perfect for Zach Wilson. I think we needed an offensive-minded head coach for a rookie quarterback, not a defensive head coach. That's my opinion.
Zach, I agree with you on that. I mean, when Daboll was, I wanted him for our coach. I mean, I hadn't really thought of Saleh at that time. I wasn't disappointed when we hired him. So don't get me wrong on that. But I wanted somebody who would be able to develop our rookie quarterback. But again, like I said, I think that things will, with the offensive line, will get better once they have a chance to work with each other.
Yeah, and Rusty.
Pete, one last thing. When you get to Anthony, he has a stat for you. He did something all day.
I spoke to him about it. Guys, just real quick, I want to just mention something. I heard everybody screaming yesterday on the 29-yard line to go for it in the second quarter on our own 29-yard line. I am sorry, but that is such a bad take. I get it. Line up, try and draw them off sides, yes, but you cannot go for it down 3-0 at your own 29-yard line. I am sorry. Not with the Jets the way they were playing and trying to figure out shit on offense. I know it's a different, era with the offense and everything, but you cannot go for it there. If it's the third quarter maybe and there's nothing going on late in the third quarter, yes, but you cannot go for it there. God forbid if the Jets didn't get it and they went for it, they would have been calling for solid. People want solid fire now. Imagine that happened. Brad, go ahead.
Thanks, Petey, for having me up, Sanad. Again, this is from an outside perspective. Number one, it's week 1. And if you're already going to have your head coach coming out on radio the day after a loss and coming out and saying stuff that he says with receipts and everything else, especially with a New York fan base, we all know how that is. It's not going to work out well at all for you guys. It's not. He's not going to last long. The fans are going to want him out. The fans are going to, they'll keep their own receipts, like Zach said. That being first and foremost. 2, you have Mike LaFleur running an offense that's built around Zach Wilson, a mobile quarterback who's able to roll out of the pocket and able to do things on the run and extend plays. And you got Joe Flacco back there who's a statue and not able to do anything inside the pocket when he's getting bombarded from an offensive line that's already in shambles. You're doomed from the start. You have Garrett Wilson, who you guys drafted at number 10 overall, getting 6 snaps in his first game. What is your offense doing to not help him out at all? To not be able to put yourselves in the best position to win, period. I really, really hope, and I know you guys will get a medical assessment this week on Zach. I hope like hell that Zach Wilson is able to go out for you guys this weekend and play against the Browns. Because I swear to God, if you guys stick Joe Flacco back there, you thought that Justin Houston was going to have a field day on you guys. Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney are going to eat up Joe Flacco so much, it'll be a free buffet. And I swear to God, you need to get Garrett Wilson, have more jet sweeps, get something going to get the ball in your playmakers' hands like Elijah Moore and give Breece Hall that ball, because God forbid if something happens, because you guys really need to do something. It's bad.
Yeah, well, Brad, to go off your point, Wilson played 6 snaps in the first half.
And what did he do in the second half?
He played like 30 something snaps total, or but to be honest, guys, Berrios was, I know they like him and they want him involved, but you have to get Garrett Wilson involved. You have to now. We saw what he could do. Listen, the guy, and listen, we could all kill Saleh for saying, you know, if you watch the tape and you're a football guy, he was right, Saleh. If he ran forward right at the end and didn't cut back and just put his shoulder down, he would have got the first down. So I'm not going to destroy Saleh for that. You know, I'm not. He was right about that. He should have not called them out in the media, but he was right about that. But overall, you got to get Wilson involved. Go ahead, Brad.
No, but Pete, that's all. I just wanted to, from an outside, I just wanted to say
fair.
that. No, but again, you have a Mike LaFleur-led offense that's built around Zach Wilson, and you got Joe Flacco, the polar opposite of Zach Wilson,
Brad,
back there trying to do this stuff.
Brad, I said it yesterday, and guys, again, sometimes I like to joke. There was a DJ at the Jet Lounge, barbecue yesterday, and my feet, I'm 45 years old almost, and I was dancing to house music. My feet were moving 5 times better than Joe Flacco's was. I watched him. My seats are in the end zone. The guy he has no footwork. Terrible. And I didn't want him to play at all. I was against it in the preseason at training camp. I was arguing with people, but they got to make a move, man. They got to go with Mike White. I know people are going to say Streveler, but if they bring up Streveler, then they have to cut somebody else. And that's another thing that I didn't say. They had Ashton Davis and the other guy, Adams, active, and they didn't play a freaking snap. And you got freaking Bryce Huff, who could get to the quarterback, and he's inactive. You think these Joyner and Whitehead played every snap? What are they doing? And I like the game plan of the defense. The defensive game plan, I watched the game over like Ant. Their defense, even the commentators were saying, James Lofton, who's a Bill, he doesn't like the Jets. He was praising the Jets defense. Nate Burleson was on the halftime show. Gosh, man.
But thanks, Petey, for having me.
Right? Yes.
Thanks, Petey, for having me up. I appreciate it, Tanad.
Yeah.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Brad.
If you need to drop me down, go ahead.
Sack, let me accept that co-host, all right? There you go. I got to save a speaker spot for our guest when he comes on, guys. I'm going in clockwise. Ant, do you want to go, or you want?
No, have everyone go, because you know what? I'm gonna ask everyone something, because I went back and watched. I'm gonna sort of like what we do, and Pete. I'm not trying to take over. I just want to ask everybody.
I want to know right with you.
how many attempts, and I'll do attempt. He had 59 attempts, I believe, right?
Yep.
Okay. I want to ask everyone to give me a number on how many attempts do they think was 3 yards or less in that game yesterday.
All right, so we'll do this. Rusty, since Sack knows, I know. If Tanad, if you don't come off mute, I'm going to go to Rusty and around the room. Can I do that, Ant? Is that good?
Absolutely. You take over. But
All
that's
right.
the question. How many pass attempts out of 59 were 3 yards or less?
All right, just the numbers. Rusty, go ahead.
30?
Brad? Even though,
What was the question? I'm sorry.
how many attempts did Flacco have under 3 or under yards out of 59 attempts?
I'm going to say 35.
Kenny?
41.
Steven? What's up, Steven?
What's going on, man? I'm going to say 27.
Petty?
I'm gonna say 59 because I don't remember seeing him throw a pucking ball down the field.
He did a couple. Man?
Fine, 57.
Man, what's up? Man up, you there? Yo, man up right now. All right, we'll get to Richard.
You there?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
I said
John, is that
33,
you?
Petey. Yeah. I couldn't hear you. I had the mic on off. I think it was 33.
All right. Richard?
I say 6.
You said 60?
How many pass attempts?
He had 59 pass attempts the whole game. So how many were 3 yards or under?
I would say half of them, half of 50.
All right, so that's 29 and a half. We'll go 30. We'll go to the over on that. John left. Okay, I'm going to add Terrence. Rhino, give me a second. I need a spot for a guy in a minute. Terrence, real quick. Terrence is back in Jersey, right? Or New York now, right?
Yeah, I'm with my mom now in Brooklyn.
Oh, hi, Ma.
Yeah.
Hey, Terrence, so there was 59
Guys,
total
give us
passes.
a second, please. If you're not called upon, just stay on me for now, please.
So how many
He had
completions for 3 yards or less?
59 pass attempts Flacco had. How many were 3 yards or less out of the 59?
$23.
All right.
Terrence,
Did we get
please
to
stay on mute.
Yeah. All right, Terrence, go ahead, Ant.
All right, so I counted because if you count the last touchdown, they were on the 3 yard line. So if you don't count that, it was 33 attempts. If you do count those last 3 plays, it was 36 out of his 59 with 3 yards or less. Not one of those other 23 were over 20 yards. The Elijah Moore catch was 24 yards, or I believe, or 22 yards, and it was either a 16-yard pass or an 18-yard pass, and then he ran for the over 20 yards. So you're limiting, and the reason I'm saying this is because it's very easy for a defense to see this, especially a guy like Harbaugh, and say, you know what, we ain't getting beat over the top, so we ain't gonna let them beat us any other way. To me, that's 1,000,000% on coaching. I don't care if you got to throw it over their head and it's incomplete. You have to let this defense see something else besides little check downs, and you're hoping that these guys wiggle out. That should be a weapon.
And can I just say something? Even the way freaking Braden punt him, when you had the punt, just throw a bomb. Even if it gets intercepted, you're going to throw it farther than than Braden Mann's going to kick it.
That goes back to what I was saying, Petey, on that 4th and 1 after Garrett Wilson. You know what? All right, I'll concede that you shouldn't go for it there. I understand. Me personally, gut instinct at that moment. I'm the coach. I'm putting them out there. I'll take my lickings. But you want to talk about 0? It's like you're just giving in. Line them up. Hard count. I said it to you. Good quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, all these guys. How many penalties do they get on false starts on a 4th down where they jump? You take a free first down. This team needs to take anything they could get. Anything they could get. For me, it's just, all right, We didn't get the first down. Punt it. Let's hope to stop him. We'll try again next time. There's just no this guy Gable's going on. He's going for it on 4th and 7. He's going for 2 to win the game.
And I know. And
it's lifeless.
And the one thing I'm gonna say is it was like the complete opposite of last year. Like the defense was so unprepared and the offense was okay. You know what I'm saying? And now it's the opposite. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody killed Ulbrich up until the last week of the preseason, or even going up to the game. Everybody was nervous, and I just thought the game plan for the defense was tremendous compared. The offensive game plan was complete dog crap. I'm sorry.
But we need some safeties, Pete. I mean, they got burnt.
Well, I know that.
And one quick thing, Jamal Adams carted off the field. Quick update.
That sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. Guys, Brad, you said I'm gonna have to. My guest is coming in, so I'm gonna drop you down for now.
You're good.
And all right, and
thanks, Petey.
I'll bring you back up. You're welcome. Good talking to you. All right, guys. Guys, I know people got hands up, but once Will comes in, I'm gonna get to asking him some things, and I'll get to you guys. I'm sorry. There's been just a lot of venting. I apologize for all this. Let me get to Kenny real quick when Will gets in. Guys, just bear with me here, all right? Go ahead, Kenny.
Now, I heard some of the takes on Salah's press conference, and I think one of them he said was like instant. The Jet fans expect instant coffee. Is I hear correctly there? Because
Folgers.
Yeah, and I heard that comment and like tweeted out, fucking coffee's been brewing for 53 years. So, for him to come out and mock the fans and take receipts, we're not stupid. It's one game. We all understand. But if this season goes 4-13, even 5-12, there's going to be a lot of people that's it, throw in the towel. You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt, Kenny. And Kenny, I was thinking about it today. I didn't tell you, but Kenny, if they do that, you know how, bro, so many people are going to drop their. It's going to be a nightmare here going into next year, Kenny. It really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who stay home now. They don't want to deal with the rain. They're into the fantasy football, the red zone. When I left that stadium yesterday, I was drenched. We were all drenched. And Joey and Clark said it best. As we're walking out of there, I felt like we were in jail. And we're just staring, saying, okay, we're just doing our time. We're doing our time. When do we get out? What are you serving? I'm doing 8 to 25. Right now, I'm doing 50 to life right now. That's what I'm on. 50 to life with this team.
You're a stand-up guy, Kenny.
And it's like we're in jail. And these guys that are like, 18, 19 years old, they feel it, yeah, but you really want to feel it? Wait till you're 59 years old and you leave this stadium every single time and you say to yourself, what am I doing here? One of my brothers was there yesterday, and my other brother gave up years ago. And he texted me during the game, when are you going to fucking learn? Sit on the couch on Sunday. Why drive up there, sit in the rain? Do what I do. I could change the goddamn channel. So he don't go anymore. My older brother used to go religiously. It's been a good 10 years since he's walked into that building. He won't do it no more. He said it's a death sentence. He goes, you go there, you get aggravated. He goes, yeah, the road games, the cities, you eat in good restaurants, you do what you got to do in the road games, but the home games, it's just a torture, and that's what it's become. And Joey and Clark said it best. He goes, Kenny, look at these people's faces leaving. I says, Joe hasn't been there, I think, in 8 or 9 years to a home game, and he was just shaking his head. He's like, look at these people's faces. It's like a funeral, and it's true when these things happen, and it happens every week. That's what I'm getting.
And PD and Nod, I wonder what you think. If I was the Jets right now, if I was ownership, you don't have to make it publicly known. But if I was them, I'd be putting out feelers to Sean Payton. I would try to get ahead of that before the Cowboys try to.
They already said it, that they're putting out stuff.
Who said?
I saw a report today that NFL teams are getting ready to gear up that he may be available for next year.
if I'm the Jets, I'm first in line.
Well-
If I'm Woody, what do you want? Johnson, what do you want?
Now, guys, real quick, I see Juice, Tony, Joe. I'll get to you guys' requests. I'm gonna have to drop some people, so please don't take it personal. Will, welcome.
You
to
could
the
drop
Jet
me,
Lounge.
Petey.
All right, I want to welcome Will Parkinson's from Turn on the Jets podcast. Will, what's up?
What's
How
up,
are you?
man? How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Actually, pretty. It's not the end of the world. I got 2 kids at home, but I was pretty miserable last night and today, bro. It was. I had that numb feeling, after a bad loss. I can't even. Well, I'm exhausted from this team, and I'm not ready to jump ship. I opened up the show with the Titanic song because the way the Jets are freaking, the fans are going, it's like it's the end of the world here. But man, oh man, that was tough to watch yesterday. Were you on the field or in the press box, or where
No,
were
no.
you?
I like to sit in the upper deck. I like to be able to see the whole field.
Okay,
I'm a weird. I'm in 308 where my tickets
All
have
right,
been for the last
I'm in
5 years or
325,
so.
bro.
Oh,
So
nice. There you go.
I'm in
Yeah,
the
well,
end. I'm in the
then
end
2
zone. I
weeks we'll
see.
have to get a beer before the game.
Actually, Will, to be honest, I'm missing my first Jet home game since 2011 because I'm in a wedding, and I almost lost a friend because I told him I wanted to go to the Jet game. So I literally almost lost a friend, and I'm in his wedding. I'm his.
There we go. Yeah, you got to go. You got to go. It'll be all right. You'll come back week 5. I think they're at home against Miami, so
Yep.
that'll be
Hopefully
probably
they'll have a win by there. But
yeah. Well, you would hope so.
Will, listen, I got some questions. Tanad's in here. Sack. First of all, thanks for coming back again. You're the man.
Of course.
I with the play, yes, but the coach, like what he did today. I mean, I don't like doing this publicly with Salah. I like supporting the coaches and everything, man, but you can't say this stuff with receipts already week 1, man. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, look, it felt like they're feeling a lot of heat this morning. I get the frustration. I get why people get annoyed with it. It's you feel like it's the same old, oh, we're going to get this right, have patience, et cetera, et cetera. I understand it. I'm not like, I don't want to say blind to it, but I understand it. It's one of those situations where I think he's feeling pressure, the organization feeling pressure. It's another, opening day loss. Although I think anyone in their right mind went into that game saying, can you just keep it close? And more so than, obviously optimistically want to get a win yesterday, but I understand the frustration. That one didn't really bother me as much. I didn't really understand the point of bringing up the expansion roster comment. That was 3 years ago, and as bad as that roster was, they won 7-9. So, you can say all you want about that. They missed their starting quarterback, who everyone thinks sucks, for 4 games, and they still won 7-9. So, as bad as they might have been, an expansion roster level, I guess they weren't. 2020, yes, I understand, but man, this is year 3 of some of this stuff, and it's been 1 week. The Ravens are an AFC title favorite, and the Jets are with a backup quarterback, and their left tackle gets injured on Monday. So all that's true, and I understand they're a young team, and et cetera, et cetera. It's really 10-3 at halftime. The game could have gone a million ways, but they're definitely feeling heat, and you should see a different performance Sunday. But again, obviously, I'm sure everyone in this chat, as I think Kenny was saying before, has heard that one before. So it's going to be a lot of. I think everyone's kind of looking for more action than words at this point. And it's really hard to blame fans. I can't tell people to block out the last 20 years, and only focus on this year and say it's one game, and they're 5 or 6 plays from winning a game against the Raven team. But at the same time, people are going to be upset. Of course they are. Like, why would you not be? People pay a lot of money and a lot of time and energy to get to these games and watch them, and tailgates and barbecues and everything. And, you're getting blown out, midway through the third quarter. It's not fun for anybody.
Yeah. Now, Will, the one thing that really bothered me was, listen, I'm a Bryce Huff guy. I really like the guy. I know whatever they needed pass rush. I know they had a lot of guys active, but Davis and the other guy, Adams, were active, and they didn't even play a snap. I know they're a big part of special teams, but I mean, that really annoyed me, man. And that, like, what do you think about that? Because he was great in my eyes. He was getting to the quarterback. in the preseason. This guy's always around the ball.
Yeah, I was surprised Bryce wasn't active. He was on the show last week. Oh, sorry, I just muted myself. I was surprised with Bryce, and I think I don't think you'll see Jeremy Ruckert inactive much longer. The Jets really like him. Those are two guys I understand Ruckert missed a lot of camp, and he's kind of, they're going to try to develop him slowly. But I don't think you'll see much more inactives from Ruckert and Huff. Although obviously they're a little thin up front in terms of the defensive tackle spots, so that's why you see a guy like Shepard or someone play 19, 20 snaps. I don't think in an ideal world that's the case, but Clements and Jermaine and some of these guys and Jacob Martin and Huff, they've got a lot of bodies there.
Yeah.
But again, to your point, I was definitely, I think, along with many people, pretty surprised when you looked at the inactive list and you saw them, only not just Huff, and then obviously, the problem is too is like I think Huff probably dresses normally. But because Zach's taking up a roster spot right now by them just kind of having him sit there, I think it's definitely it kills them on Sundays because it's another guy that can't have active.
Well, I thought they were very good against the run. Very good. I mean, they were flying
they
around.
held to 3 yards a carry. It's the best rushing offense in football. And Lamar had, I think, 17 rushing yards, most of which were on one play.
Oh, that play killed them. Well, that was the play. If they stopped him there, he danced around that
you just get better.
sideline.
I think they forced them to go 3, and they forced them on the next play, the next drive. I'm pretty positive not next drive, the next set of downs. Next series they were able to get them off the field, but they would have pinned them back in good field position. Obviously, although everyone in the NFL is a good punter except the Jets, so maybe not.
And
But
do you think they'll bring anybody in to compete with Man this week?
They've had plenty of time to do that. That's why I just don't understand. They had Morstead in here last year. He was a top 5 punter in football on every metric, and then they just cut him because Man came back. You even look at Amendola, who was, obviously was a terrible kicker, but
I know he was good that game. I remember that.
But he was a good punter. So I don't know. It's frustrating, man. I think when you look at the NFL and you look kind of across the league when teams are successful, even the bad teams when they're able to kind of keep games close, and even the games the Jets have kept close, like you need the one special teams play. You need to make kicks. You need, flip the field. If the Jets are going to go, they drive down to the 45 and the Jets, punt, you got to pin the team inside the 10, inside the 15, give yourself and your defense a chance. The Braden Mann punting from his own 20 should not be punting to their own. They're like getting a 20-yard punt, and then right after that, the Ravens go and score. Like you can't put your defense in bad spots when they're playing their ass off. So that part's frustrating, for sure. And you'd love to see him. You love to see the Jets make a move there, but Joe Douglas drafted Braden Mann, and we've seen him have a propensity to be stung with his own draft picks, for better or for worse.
Yep.
So far.
Guys, we're talking to Will Parkinson from Turn On the Jets. Thanks for joining us, Will. I want to get to the co-host. And then, guys, if you do not have your hand up, I'm going to assume you don't want to ask Will a question. So please put your hand up if you want to ask him something. And then we're going to have to rotate people in and out. Go ahead, guys. Tana, go ahead.
Well, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming on, as always.
No, of course, man. I appreciate you having me.
So there's so much to talk about from yesterday. But a few things that really got my attention offensively was Garrett Wilson not getting more snaps, after making that big play. To me, I felt like he was bringing that spark offensively, as well as them not making any type of adjustments, for Joe to have an effective game. Like to be able to have someone that that's not mobile, to do the things that you would want him to do in this type of offense. You have to be able to make adjustments on the fly. He was getting pressured a lot, holding the ball too long. So one of the things that I thought that would be really helpful is just, calling some wide receiver screens, getting the ball out of his hands much faster, 2-3 step drop backs, or even when he's in the shotgun, to where he's just getting the ball out very quickly. To me, him being a veteran, he did not do that yesterday. Those are things that I expect from a young quarterback, that started in their first several games in the league. The performance that Joe put out onto the field yesterday, did not satisfy me at all. And I was someone that felt like, okay, he can help us, win a couple games within the first 4 weeks that Zach will be out. And I did not see that at all yesterday. Like, the offense was putrid. Just watching the game, being at the stadium, I just couldn't believe that, Mike LaFleur couldn't make the adjustment to try to help to get some points on the board. On top of those things, to me, Robert Saleh is slowly ticking me off, and I'm going to explain to you why. As a coach, you reach a certain point in the game when you see that there's no fire offensively, you bring that fire to these guys. They have to get it within. Nobody else in the stadium is going to be able to do that for you. We can help the defense out. That's the only thing that we can do. We can help the defense out as fans. But offensively, you have to be able to light a fire into these guys behind and for them to be able to get it going. Even after missing the first, the field goal. You missed the field goal. Okay, what are you going to do next? We go from down 10-3. Next thing you know, it's 17-3. Next thing you know, it's 24-3. And the game's getting out of hand. And he's getting frustrated, with not getting a certain call. Those are things that, you get your team going on the sideline prior to you going off on the referees. And those things are things that really bothered me yesterday, just watching the game offensively and him not, being the type of coach that's demanding more from these guys. What did you think about, those parts that I just brought up, from what you saw yesterday at the game?
Yeah, so I guess we'll start Wilson-wise. Saleh mentioned it, but they had that clear. It was a clear. They want to be in 13 personnel. Oh, my cousin Kobe Parkinson, the GOAT. Look, they not using Garrett Wilson more in the first half. I think he only ran 4 true routes in the first yesterday. Obviously, is not acceptable. I think the Jets know that. UCLA tried to adjust it. I think you'll see a lot more of that going forward. They were trying to have more tight ends in the field, be able to open up the run game, create some mismatches, which the Ravens kind of ran different packages defensively than I think the Jets were expecting as well. I don't think they really trust the pass pro yesterday, so they were trying to have more tight ends in, which led to less guys being open. All of that not being great. The Saleh stuff, look, it's tough because he's a guy who's like that rah positive guy, and I think this week, them struggling, obviously offensively, they get, obviously for lack of a better term, blown out in that third quarter, and you're not seeing kind of the results people are looking for. You go across town and Brian Dable and the Giants, beat the Titans, although the Titans aren't very good this year. I think people quickly find that out. But you see all the energy and everyone's excited and they're in a close game. So I think it was a mixture of that, the Zach Wilson stuff last week where everyone's like, he said, they just want to talk about it. It's just it's a bad mix right now for what's going on with the Jets fans and Saleh. And I think calling for a guy's head after 18 games is nuts, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's give it a little bit of like the season. Can we get half the season done? But at the same time, I know people want to see results. They want to see, things change, them being competitive. So, it's just one of those situations where it's hard to blame you, hard to blame anybody that feels like, man, like I don't want to hear anymore. I want to see actions. And, I think they've 2-15 in their last 17 road games, this week against a backup in Jacoby Brissett. You got to do something when it comes to Flacco. A 28-year-old quarterback who can't get hit, he's going to look a lot better when he has to get off his spot and actually make plays. I think you'll see some of those flaws exposed. I don't think he got to his receivers quick enough. I don't think the Jets did a great job from a scheme perspective. The offensive line was bad. The Ravens are also really damn good, and their defense is really fast and really physical, even with some of the guys banged up. So it was a mixture of things. It was not ideal. Obviously, it would have been nice. I think the energy in the building would have been a little different if Zach was playing. Just knowing that whatever happens, there's a future there, and or a potential future. Obviously, with Joe Flacco, it's kind of hard to watch games knowing, he's probably going to retire after the year or be close to retirement age at this point. Obviously, so I empathize with everyone's feelings at the same time. I think it's one game. Try to take a deep breath. I know, if we're talking about the same situation in Week 12 and they're getting shut out by the Bears, yeah, things are bad. I don't think you're going to get to that point though.
Well, I'm glad you brought that part up because next week playing a team like the Browns, you have to be able to put more on the board. I think, to me, the Browns might be a better defensive team, but you have to be able to do more. You're going to be on the road. There has to be more of a demand from this offense, the way that things are done. One thing that you just pointed out, as far as, Joe Flacco getting to his reads late, I saw that throughout the entire game yesterday. Even when he had time, he was just holding on to the ball, being hesitant. There were a couple of routes where, guys were open. One of them, I believe, was a post corner route that Corey Davis ran. And, all he has to do is literally just look on that side of the field about a second and a half into his progression. And he would have seen that, Corey Davis is wide open. And the person that was below him literally did not even take into consideration that, okay, Corey Davis is going to be open. He was literally just playing the flat the entire time. The safety was over the top, but the safety was playing about 9-10 yards off. So those are things that, that I saw yesterday that I'm like, okay, a veteran should not be making those type of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had 19 targets to the running backs yesterday, and you look at it, I'll put it in the thing, but I think he had, if you look at his spray chart from yesterday, some of these throws, I mean, the entire chart is flooded between the line of scrimmage and 5 yards. It's not really what you expect. You kind of are expecting somewhat opposite. With Flacco, obviously he's the big arm, and we've seen him play in the past for the Jets. It seems like he's been a player that kind of airs it out more, and everyone's excited about that. But man, yesterday was not great, and Flacco cannot play like that. I mean, look, he played bad enough that Joe Salah, who's this kind of rah Joe Flacco guy, was like, yeah, it's like we're open to anything. That's definitely not not what I was expecting to have happen in terms of already looking at Mike White. Although, to be clear, I know everyone loves Mike White, but I'm not sure how much Mike White would have made a difference, but maybe he would have provided a spark. And, if you're the Jets, anything should be on the table. You have got to win a game in September. This is the worst quarterback they play. One of the worst quarterbacks to play all year. So you got to make it count. And although you're starting Flacco, they're starting Brissett. Go out and win, line of scrimmage again and see what happens.
So, you know what? Let's go around the table, because I'm not even going to ask the question that I want to ask yet. I'm going to ask it before you go. I don't want to do too much.
Yeah, whatever works, man.
We want to have the fans ask you some questions. Let's go to Sack, and then
let Sack go, and then Joe and Clark been waiting, and then we'll go.
Yeah. What's up, Sack? What's going on?
Well, I just want to welcome you into the lounge and appreciate your time. So we're not here to hear from us. We'll probably just go to the hands there, Pete. But it's more of a statement. Will is, look, unless you're a casual fan, then you're okay with this. But if you're a diehard fan, you're putting time, money, and effort into stuff. Yeah, I understand that the fans go crazy. They want to fire everybody after one game. It's just not one game, though. I mean, this goes on and on and on. What are we going to look forward to again? The draft party? We're going to throw another Jet Lounge draft party, and then what? So after 4 weeks, this is bad. Then we look forward to the draft. We get some good players. And after we get these good players, we're like, oh, we're going to be great. And then we lose them. It's repetitive. And as Kenny said, some of us been on this earth longer than others. So if you're a 18-year-old fan or a 21-year-old fan, they don't feel as much as someone that's seen this for 40 years. So this is my point is the fans go crazy? Sure they do. That's why the Jet fans always get trolled. But I have to say, Will, enough's enough. And I thought that was a little bit unprofessional of Salah with his I got receipts. I didn't even know he talked like that, to tell you the truth, because the only time you hear that is from the young bucks that are on Twitter. So he got that from somebody, because that's a catchphrase reserved for, 28-year-olds and 23-year-olds. So I don't know what that was about. I think it was silly. I think he also said on Michael K's show, I put it down their throat pretty much, and if you're off the bus, then we don't want you back on the bus. And I have a problem with that. You've been here 2 years. Who are you to tell people that have been there 40 years? Remember, coaches leave. Players and coaches and all these guys, they come and go. It's the fans that we're stuck here. And I know using the word stuck is a little bit harsh, but a lot of us are, because we can't go root for another team. It's just not in our blood to say, you know what, we'll give up on the Jets. We'll go root for a good, a better team. So I just think it was a little bit rough what he's saying. I think it was a little bit, I don't know. I just thought it was silly, to be honest. So that's just my. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like you got to read the room. I think DJ put it. I texted him before. He's like, got to understand the market you're in. Team hasn't won in a long time. Heard the same statement from a lot of people. Rex came in and said a lot of crazy shit, but the first 2 years went to the title game, so wasn't really all that crazy. I think everyone likes what Salah's about. I think people like the scheme. I think people like playing for him. I think there's a lot of really good potential there, but it's tough. It's like you want to see action, and that's hard. It's where you can't blame people. At the end of the day, they are 4-14, and it's 18 games as a coach, and and under Douglas, who everyone loves and loves the trade memes and loves some of these things. They're 6-28 the last 2 years plus the other day, and they've been blown out in September the last 10 games under Douglas. 7 have been losses. So at some point, it's got to be action. That's why it's crucial for them to get off to a fast start. And while yesterday necessarily might not have been the game that they were going to kind of get a W. They're playing the Bengals. T. Higgins is already banged up. The Bengals just Joe Burrow had 5 turnovers yesterday, and they beat them last year. Look at Pittsburgh. T.J. Watt's not going to play, and Mitchell Trubisky is nothing to sneeze. I mean, like these at the end of the game, like it can't just be excuse making. You got to win games, and moral victories aren't going to help. And I know a lot of times he's trying to protect his guys, and he's trying to make sure that you kind of protect them, and I get it. But I also think fans sometimes, right or wrong, whatever, everyone's different. But sometimes I think fans like the truth of, man, we should have won. Like we sucked today, or that the third quarter was not acceptable, or X, Y, and Z. I think sometimes people want to hear that more so than they're like, we were close, we're close, because people have been hearing that for a long time, and while it might not have been a long time for Salah, it's been a long time for a lot of Jets fans. That the last decade, 11 years has been tough, man, and so, to say the least. So it's hard, again, as you mentioned, like it's hard for people their memories aren't, a week old. People are, have pains and scars for 30, 40 years as opposed to, just an off season.
Yep. Hey, guys, so we have 9 people with hands up, 4 requests. Please make your question. No more. We can't have takes now. We got to get to Will with questions, and then I got to rotate, and I have another guest coming on. So please try and keep it to like a minute or so question, and then we'll get to you right away. I'm going to go Joe, Terrence, Ray, and then Steven. So just guys, hang in there. Go ahead.
Hey, Will, what's going on? How you doing, bro? Thanks for coming.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the same stuff we keep rehashing here. I mean, you've heard it probably a million times, and I just saw a stat which I didn't realize. We've lost 13 straight games in September, which is now an NFL record. I mean, it's just it's on and on and
yeah, they
on.
haven't won. The last time they won in September,
Was
the
Darnold
rookie
Detroit.
game, and everyone's.
I mean, it's just Will, as a Jet fan, after a while, it just that stigma, that stench, that black cloud that hangs over us as the same old Jets. I mean, we're still eons away from that ever changing, and unfortunately, I don't think we have the head coach. He should learn that you can't beat the fans. You're not going to win a fight with the fans, especially publicly, like he's trying to do. We saw last year with the Mets with the thumbs down. It's not going to work. You never win. The fans are always going to be right. So, and by him doing that publicly, that's a big mistake. And he's already lost me a long time ago. Anyway, I want him out of here tomorrow, if possible. If I'm Woody Johnson, he's 77 years old now. He's getting old, just like Leon Hess was in '96 when he called up Bill Parcells, call up Sean Payton. You have a blank check. What do you want? What will it take for you could be VP of operations, be the head coach, whatever you want, it's yours, because it's never going to change, Will, unless they do that, unless they go back to '96 and bring another Parcells in and start all over again with that, because they're not going anywhere with this coaching staff. You saw that game yesterday, bro. You saw how they missed how did that first half on the 30-yard line, it was a clear fumble by Baltimore. He does not throw the challenge flag. That is malpractice.
Joe, I watched that play though, Joe. It was an incomplete.
Fumbled it. I saw it. I watched it myself. I slow mo.
He got both feet down.
He made a football move.
No, he didn't.
Fumble.
No, he didn't. I disagree with that.
Okay, well, whatever.
PD, hold on. First, I'm gonna be honest. When I watched over, he caught the ball. both feet were down,
yeah,
and he's coming forward, and he got hit.
Yep.
To me,
Absolutely.
this whole football move thing has to be taken away from the context, because football move, they want you to take 2-3 steps. No. Once you have possession of the ball,
both feet down.
Forward, both feet are down.
Well, yes, they were. That they were. But
that was a catch. But let me just finish repeating my point. That being said, that's just part of it. We saw the game yesterday. You know, it's just, you know, to me, Salah's a glorified cheerleader. That's really basically all he is. But be that as it may, look, as far as the, you know, I don't really have a question per se as far as like, but just the overall, you know, what's going to change this train that we're on right now with this Jet team going forward? What's going to change? Is it going to be Zach coming in and lighting it up? I personally don't think he's the guy. So my thing is, you know, next year, if we go 3-14 or 4-13 this year, which is very possible, I'm sorry, I'm realistic. It's the truth. Next year they're going to end up, you know, can you get Lamar Jackson? Can you make a trade to get him in here? Because you need a coach and a quarterback. We saw yesterday they have a coach and they have a quarterback, and you can win. You can win 9-10 games with that with those two guys we saw yesterday, but you're not going to win it with Salah and Flacco or White or even Zach Wilson, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Well, you know that more than anybody else. You need a quarterback and you need a head coach. Without that, you got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah, the NFL, like you can get away with a lot if you have quarterback, you know, a demigod superstar quarterback, or you have an elite head coach, and the best teams usually have both. Look, I don't know. I guess, you know, I'm not quite to the you know, being out on them as much as you are, but I get the frustration. I do. I think you saw yesterday something to me that was obviously, you know, big from a defensive perspective. Look, last year the defense was obviously awful. And yes, they've upgraded talent wise, but yes, you know, Lamar week 1, first game of the year, really young defense, first time kind of all of these guys really playing together. You know, it was nice to see, you know, Salah and Ulbricht's kind of impact on that defense. I thought their game plan was good. I thought they had the guys riled up, physical. Yeah, I mean, look, they got to get quarterback right, obviously, and whether that's Zach or somebody else in the future. Unfortunately, I think if Lamar is not going to be a Raven, he'll be a Dolphin because he's, you know, a South Florida kid. So I think that would be unfortunate. You know, generally speaking, yeah, obviously they got to get quarterback right. And look, when Zach comes back, they've given him every opportunity. You look at the weapons they have. You know, obviously you like to see the offensive line play better, but generally speaking, you know, good backs, good tight ends, good receivers. They gotta, you know, they just gotta start. You gotta start seeing results. I think, you know, like I said, I think at the end of the day, right now, everyone's, you know, tired of the talking, they just want to see it. You know, no one wants to. As great as it is, the 60% left and you know, all gas, no breaks, or, you know, under, you know, Gase, the offensive mind, and all these different guys. You know, you want to see, you love the arm talent, you love from Zach, and you love the skill from these different guys, and the toughness and the good quotes and the trench warfare and all. Just it's show me, don't tell me anymore. I think people are, you know, the honeymoon's over from year one, where you knew it was a tough roster. There's enough talent in this roster to win some games. You got to see it, and you know it's got to start. It's got to start this week. You got, you know, go get a victory in Cleveland. All of a sudden, you know, we never know. You come back home 1-1. You play a Bengals team who's coming off, you know, a big game next week with Dallas, and you know, the stadium's feeling a lot different. You could be 2-1 like that. The other difference is, though, you go to get blown out by Cleveland, the building's going to be half empty, and you know, all the lunatics in here, including myself, will be in the stadium and miserable as always. So, you know, you got at some point, got to build a little momentum. You got to win some games early in the year. You got to keep people engaged. Go score some points, man. Like, at the end of the day, go score points. It's not that hard. The NFL, you know, the Giants scored 20+ points yesterday. The Texans, you know, scoring 20+. Like, go score points, man. Finish off these drives, make kicks. It's like that's what I think is the most frustrating to people is, like, you know, defense is great. I know the Jets have always been a defense and run team, and you know, historically, and that's what people you know, kind of pride themselves on and stuff. But you know, the Bengals game last year was fun. The Titans game was fun because they're throwing for 300 yards and you know, putting up points. The Houston game, they played good defense. No one really cared because Zach wasn't very good, right? You know, like that's what it comes down to is the NFL. You got to score points, and you know, the Jets scored 9 points yesterday. Won 6 of them were at the end of the game.
Yep. Will, you forgot to say play like a Jet.
Remember play like a Jet. Yeah, play like a Jet. Play like, yeah, that was a good one too. That one worked though, right? I mean, they pretty much that was Rex's thing, right?
From play like a Raven to play like a Jet.
Yeah, and it worked because they actually won games, so people embraced it.
You're right. Terrence, go ahead.
Thanks, Speedy. Thanks. Good to see everybody here. Hey, Will.
What's
Pleasure
up,
to
man? How you
talk to you again. Hey, Will. Just briefly, I agree with you. Plenty of time to fire this guy after week 12 or 13. Let's give him a chance. I understand the frustration, but here's my question about the press conference. Salah made it sound like we were a Michael Carter catch and touchdown. We were a Bryce Hall not fumbling, and a missed field goal by Zerline. Oh, all those little mistakes that he was highlighting at the press conference today, away from winning. From either winning this thing or basically making this game competitive. In your mind, how true is that? Is that the coach speak of Salah that we're all getting tired of a little bit, or is that the reality?
So I went back and watched it. I would say like yes and no. Like I would say I don't know that those. He highlighted some plays that are more of kind of like the bigger deal. Obviously, when you look at the drops and things. I think that the plays that more so, more so in my opinion, kind of affected the game. The Corey Davis drop early on, brutal. Get a first down. You start to roll a little bit on offense, and boom, huge drop on third down, and that sucks. I thought, the penalty on the drive that was the real backbreaker of this game was Joyner, stupid pass interference penalty. There's no need for it. That ball was never going to get caught. I'm honestly I was surprised they called that the pass interference because of how uncatchable it was. But at the end of the day, it obviously became more uncatchable.
Agreed.
Because Joyner obviously for no reason. I don't think he realized
Blatant.
he had help.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
blatant.
I don't think he realized he had help, which is a whole other issue. I think that and then Bryce Hall, for whatever reason, comes in the game. Not sure why he's on the field. He's their fourth best cornerback at best, and they get torched for a touchdown. Although obviously good coverage, but again got beat for playing on the field. So all of a sudden, boom, it went to it just felt like I don't know if it was 3-0 and made it 10-0, or I think, or maybe it was 10-3 and made it 17-3. I think it was the first touchdown, right? It was made it 10-3.
Yeah.
That one obviously was a killer, just because it felt like it was 3-0. They're playing a good game, and kind of momentum got zapped out of the building a little bit. I thought the Carter drop touchdown and the Breece Hall fumble, like while they were both incredibly frustrating because they should have gotten points on both. The biggest play, one of the biggest plays of the game, and no one talked about, is Doug Conklin catches a 3rd and 5, has a first down, fumbles,
Yep.
and
Which
then
is going to say that.
and then now crushes the drive. The Jets could have easily been up. It could have been 10-7 coming out of half. You're feeling way different if the Jets go in and score and it's 10-7 as opposed to 10-3. You are feeling way different about that football game coming out of the half. And they get the field goal there. Obviously, the missed field goal is tough. There was just both. It felt like there's probably 7 or 8 plays throughout the game, whether it be drops, fumbles, or missed kicks, where like it just could swing a momentum of a game. Again, another one that did it really matter in the long run? I guess not. I think it was at 17-3, or maybe it was at 10-3. Jets force a fumble, and of course don't fall on the ball. Why? Because why would they? That's what the Jets do. And again, it's another time where it could have been big turnover, big momentum shift. It just felt like they couldn't make the play to kind of flip the script of the game. The defense played with energy, but again, I think it's somewhat coach speak. Terrence, I guess, to answer your question, I know I'm kind of named like 6 or 7 plays there, but those are the plays that there was more of like an actual huge impact to me of, Corey Davis drop all of a sudden kills momentum, and now your defense is right back on the field. Because maybe play them 4 plays where they're not tired and they don't give up a big play, right? Like that's the stuff that they gotta fix. The 20-yard punt was an absolute backbreaker. I have no idea why Braidman's on the roster. 20-yard punts in the NFL, or 20-yard punts in high school aren't acceptable. So I'm not sure why in the NFL, the Jets continue to run themselves into an issue with a punter. No one would be upset with the front office if they moved on. I promise no one's going to be talking about the Jets moving on from a draft pick. No one cares. So yeah, I guess to answer your question again, I think there was 4, 5, 6 plays in the game that kind of with the difference. I feel like EPA per play. I think Football Perspective Twitter account put it out. Like the entire game was basically 4 plays that made the difference, where the Ravens made 4 big plays that swung their way, and the Jets didn't. So I didn't feel like 24-9, but again, they were up 24-3 at one point, and if you don't make plays in the NFL, you will get gashed.
Yep. Steven, go ahead.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, I'm gonna obviously save my rant for another time. Will, just a couple of quick questions I have. The two quick things. One, the running game. What'd you see from the running game? Because like I felt like it was like hit and miss because obviously we like gashed them for some like 15-yard runs with Hall and Carter, but then it felt like another times we were just getting stuffed at the line. And then the tight ends like me especially, like, we're so happy to have Conklin and Uzama on the team and thought they'd be a vital part of the offense. Was it a fact that they just were getting with the line being bad, they were like having to stay in chip and not being used much down the field? So I just wanted to quick those two, the running game, because I think that obviously have to be something that we could work on to help Joe, and then the tight ends as well.
Yeah, so from a tight end perspective, Tyler Conklin had a rough day yesterday. He had a couple missed blocks on outside zone early in the game where the Jets kind of allowed the backside end. It's a hard block, but he allowed the backside end to kind of cut across and stop the running backs. The Ravens are a really good defense. They fly around. They tackle well. I thought AVT was really good in the run game. I thought Connor McGovern had some nice moments. They had a couple. The Jets rushed for 6 yards a carry, and they only rushed it 17 times. So because how the game kind of turned out, but when the Jets did, they moved the ball in the running game. He had a couple big plays there. Brees Hall had one to the right side. Carter had one or two to the left side. You'd like to see them be able to kind of rely on that more. Cleveland's kind of weakness is that interior, that offensive line. That interior, that defensive line, their linebackers. So you like to see the Jets kind of take advantage and expose them. But yeah, no, I was disappointed in the tight end play for sure. Like I mentioned, I don't think you'll see Jeremy Ruckert inactive very much longer. I think the Jets didn't trust early on their pass pro, and that's why they did a lot of 13 personnel, try to get snatches with like a Cager, for example, against the linebacker. Obviously Cager slips in the interception, and I think he had a penalty, if I'm not mistaken, on a hold.
Yes,
on
he
the
did.
right side. I'm not sure even if the call wasn't a great call. But again, if you let your hands kind of outside the numbers there. So look, at the end of the day, I think you'll see better tight end play going forward. But a tight end definitely didn't have a good day yesterday. Conklin had the fumble, he had a drop. And in terms of the run game, I think you'll see that continue to grow. They did break some yesterday. You like to see them get maybe up to 25 carries or so. If the game's ready to get to that 120-yard mark and kind of control the clock a little bit more, which they were trying to do early on.
Let's get to, thanks, Will, for that. Let me see here. Tony and then Kenny. Tony Perkis, go ahead. My bad. I hit the mute button. Tony, going once? Going twice? Kenny, you're up.
Hey, Will, pleasure to have you in here. Could you guys hear me?
Yeah, Kenny, go ahead.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I can hear you. So.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the elder statesmen here. I think I've been 40 years with season tickets since I'm 19 years old.
That's awesome, man.
And before the pandemic, for the last 20 years before the pandemic, I'd be at minimum 6 to almost every road game, travel, and it takes a toll on you.
Yeah, no, it beats you down for sure.
We're still looking for a quarterback. I know that Zach finished decent. I think because he never put up that game like Mike White put up. I know that White, yeah, he was there and he really never got a chance. I'm not saying I don't want to see Zach play, but what is your feeling going into this week if Flacco struggles the first half? I think you would agree you got to pull him.
Yeah, you can't. You have to do whatever you got to do to win. They're under too much pressure to not. At the end of the day, if you don't feel like Joe's giving you the best chance to win, you gotta move on. But the only thing I would say with Zach is I don't know that like I would say that Zach, like, I wouldn't give up on Zach yet. Let's see what happens. I thought he was really impressive. that for the like, of course it sucks. I was talking about this on my show with Mike Giardi, but we were talking about how like the last 7 to 10 days before the Eagles game was the best I've seen Zach look in the NFL, where the ball was coming out of his hands quick, efficient. He had the big plays in him. He looked confident, like everything that you were looking for from him. And then the Eagles game happens, and he looked terrible the first drive, and then gets hurt. It's like, man, what a momentum killer! Because I think going into that game, we were feeling the best. I was feeling the best. Dennis Wozniak, who covers the Jets, obviously was like,
Yep.
This is the best I've seen a Jets quarterback look in camp in a decade. And I was like, holy shit, we're moving. So, but yeah, no, you can't. If Flacco's going out there and struggling again, you can't. Risk not moving on. And, I'd love to see the Jets give Streveler a chance at that point, maybe more than Mike White, maybe, get some magic there and things like that.
Listen, if we gotta depend on Streveler, then we got issues. Zach. The thing with Zach is we just can't get a consistent flow of games with him to actually get a read on him. And no, we can't gauge him right now. The jury's still out, unfortunately. But even with that being said, sometimes I get the feeling the head coach yesterday, and I mentioned this earlier today on a space, I feel that the head coach, when we're down by 7 or 10 yesterday, he's got to stop with the moral victories. Him saying basically that we were in the game. As a Jet fan, and a lot of people here could speak for this, when we're down 10, it feels like we're down 20. Because we just don't have that explosive offense. And moving forward, I want to see Garrett Wilson play every down, unless it's a goal line package where it's, but I want to see him and Elijah line up together on the field for 90% of the snaps. Because with that speed and with the play that Wilson made yesterday, you could see he's got electric. He is electric.
Yeah. Look, I mean, they took him in the top 10 draft. I mean,
you got to play him. Kids got to play.
I'm the biggest Braxton Berrios guy who isn't a Braxton Berrios fan. The guy's freaking awesome, but I'd love to see their base kind of 11 personnel be more something in the line of, of Davis, Moore, and Wilson. I think with Berrios being more of that gadget number 4, kind of slot guy, tough guy over the middle. I think ideally that's where you'd like to get to. I just think Wilson provides so much upside, and Wilson more, is the future of this kind of roster. And, there's 2 blue chip guys there where, you look at your roster and go, who's the guys that can make a Pro Bowl? And both those guys come to your mind going, we've got something here. So you'd like to see them, kind of start to use Garrett early and often and get, that was one of the things I think someone, I don't remember who asked this before, but, mentioned at the game plan. I was disappointed. I don't think we saw some, maybe it was 1 or 2 times, but there was no jet sweeps. There was no, kind of trick plays, trying to get, maybe Berrios in a jet sweep, Elijah, the one I think they ran it a couple times last year, maybe get some manufactured targets for Moore and Wilson specifically, make big plays. I just didn't think we saw that. And I don't know if it was because, again, they didn't trust the pass pro or they didn't trust Flacco, whatever it was. But again, as you
it was too vanilla. The offense was too vanilla yesterday.
Very vanilla. There was no play action boots. I know Joe doesn't move well, so I think that's part of the problem. But it's disappointing when you look at last year. It felt like the offense, especially later in the year when Zach got comfortable a little bit, you started to see them open it up a little bit more. And even with Mike White, you saw it in the Bengals game, just efficient, but moving them around, play action, rolling them out, things of that nature. You'd like to see happen more often.
Because they didn't even attempt any deep throws. There was. I know we didn't have time, but still, I don't think there was anything in the playbook yesterday for a deep throw.
There was nothing.
So like I said, moving forward, if you can have Moore and Wilson on the field together, and you run a crossing pattern, now you got the safety thinking, okay, I got 2 speedsters coming at me. If he gets behind me, is the help there? And that's where you see plays like you seen yesterday what the Ravens ran, where their receiver was wide open on that touchdown. So hopefully they can do this.
Give these guys a chance. You got to give whoever's playing quarterback a little bit of a chance. And, we'll see, when they play teams that are more, that don't pressure as much. I'm curious to see how that'll kind of roll out. But regardless, I'm, at the end of the day, It's got to be better on Sunday, and it's got to be better, going forward, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think defensively, you take a performance where you hold the team under 300 yards and, under 70 on the ground, you force a takeaway or two. I think you settle for that all day. If they're going to give up 20, 24 points a game this year, I think you like your chances in a lot of games, but you got to score points. And, you can't have, maybe the defense only gives up 17 yesterday if, they're in better field position and the offense looks better. That's the stuff that's tough to kind of swallow when my whole concern going into the game was how can they slow down Lamar enough to even give themselves a chance, and they did that. That's what I think. Also, I know everyone's been mentioning their frustration. I think you look at it and go, damn, man, we held Lamar down.
Yeah,
Lamar,
I know it is frustrating. It is.
Guys have fine him, but not everyone loves him. But he's a former MVP. Holding Lamar to 230 yards and forced fumble and interception, sacking him a couple times. You're going, man, we got a chance. That's what I think is one of the backbreakers there. From the fan base, and it's hard to blame them.
I appreciate it, Will. And Pete, if you want to drop me down to listener to get more people up. All right.
I got some requests.
Appreciate
Thanks, Kenny.
You
Guys,
got it.
I'm going to go Man Up, Vice, Juice, and then please keep it short because I do have Antoine Staley from the Daily News coming on after Will. So go ahead, Man Up.
Hey, Petey, how are you, man? How's everything?
Good. How are you, John? Did we lose you?
You still there?
John. We got Twitter space issues. Will, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Man Up. Why don't you log back in and come back, and I'll get you right up. Yeah.
Petey, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can, John. Go ahead.
Hey, Will, how are you?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I got a couple of things. I'll make them quick. I coached over in youth sports for the last 12, 13 years in Staten Island between high school and the lower levels. I can't understand how, as a coach at a professional level, is afraid to make a move or doesn't have the balls to make a move. Like, I don't understand how you go through 2 or 3 quarters and you have crap play by your quarterback. And it's not just this year, it was last year too. And it's been numerous coaches over the last 10 years with the Jets. How do you not say, okay, this is not working? It's okay. You can switch out in the third quarter and go with somebody else. The end of the world's not going to happen. Okay. And I don't understand why none of these guys balls to do that. When I coached at high school and youth levels, if a kid's not, hitting well in the number 4 spot, I'm going to drop him down to the 7 or 8 spot. If a kid's not playing, quarterback the right way, I'm going to go with my second string guy and see what he's got. There's nothing wrong with that. It seems like some of these guys are afraid to make a move. Either A, they don't want to give these other guys an opportunity, and then if that guy's not a high-priced guy, then we can't use this guy because he's just a backup. Like the guy who was in preseason. Maybe give him a shot. Give White a shot again. You know what I mean? Until Wilson comes back. We're too busy bullshitting around. Been going on for 10 years now with this team that we have guys that are waiting in the wing. Even Denzel Mims, he's another guy. What do we need Jeff Smith for? The guy stinks. All right. I mean, why? Because he plays special teams. There's 50 other guys on the roster that could play special teams. How about the 2 guys that didn't get on the field over the weekend? Put them on special teams if they weren't on the field. Find other ways. You got to start giving guys chances and see what you got on your roster, and have the ball to make the move in the second or third quarter. If something's not working, you got to make a move. You can't keep going with the same. That's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and expecting the same result, and it's not working. Okay, so I as a Jeff fan, I don't understand the whole concept of this. You're a professional coach. You got to have more balls. He's too busy worried about calling out fans. Have more balls and worry about what you got to do with your personnel and make better decisions on the field.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. Like, I didn't. I mean, maybe I don't know. I guess I was kind of reading the quotes slightly differently. Did you guys feel like he was calling out the fans more so than like calling out a lot of the media and things of that nature, of like kind of the Lol Jets situation?
I thought it
was more fans wise.
I thought it was more media.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of more of like I thought personally. I mean, again, I maybe I was trying to be too optimistic there, but I felt like I thought it was more so at the national, like, oh, here we go, Jets again, like on Sports Center type of thing. But at the same time, I don't blame. I guess I was reading back through when you guys were talking before. I guess you could kind of take it both ways. But yeah, no, look, I don't. Just from quickly on the quarterback thing, I think you don't want to lose. The argument would have been different if it's a starting quarterback. That's your franchise guy. You can't bench him like that. They're not playing well, right? Like you don't want to lose the locker room, or you don't want to lose the guy because then you can't really go back to him. But yeah, I mean, I think going forward, I think you already saw, obviously in the comments, if they don't feel Flacco's not producing, you gotta change it up, gotta go to something different, and I don't think they'll hesitate to make the move they need be. Like, it's funny. Yesterday, I was thinking about, like, Josh Johnson probably could have played well yesterday. I know he's not anything special, but at least he moves around, has a strong arm. But no, look, at the end of the day, man, they got to get better production out of the quarterback spot. They've needed that production for the last 10 years, basically. But it's got to happen this year because the roster is good enough that they can win some games if they even get like average quarterback play, this year.
Hey, Will, I kind of took it as a personal dig at the fans, because
At the fans.
if he was addressing the media, he should have made that comment. I watched it, the Michael K show, when he made that comment. I watched it live. And the call out fans, I mean, you really don't have too much of a brain
Yeah,
to do something like
I
that.
didn't love Michael K using that example either. I thought he was playing a
Yeah.
little bit of, not for nothing. They did have the Yankee fans too. Like, dude, you're not paying hundreds of dollars to get in the stadium every day.
Exactly.
As someone I've missed the Yankee playoff home game or Jets home game, and since I was in college, where I didn't really have a choice. At the end of the day, like, man, it's frustrating when that stuff happens. Fans are going to be crazy no matter what, and I think that's part of what makes it frustrating at times and great. But calling out fans, whether you're whoever it is, it's just never a good idea, in my opinion. Yeah, I just don't think it's really a winnable battle, even if you might be technically correct. Nobody cares. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of the situation.
Hey, Will, he could take his receipts and he could shove it for the sun don't
Yeah,
shine. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I was waiting for someone to use that one.
It
It's
will.
the truth, man. Sucks.
Before we go to Juice, what I will say though, as a fan, I feel like it was both, and I'm okay with him taking a shot at the fans. This is why. Okay, the energy in the stadium was nowhere close to where it should have been, especially on the opening day. Right? Yeah, he's not gonna win that battle, but the fans have to understand that it's game number one. You can't give up already. You got to find a way to give this defense some energy. When it's third down, the Ravens, every audible could be heard by Lamar Jackson and his teammates. The stadium should have been louder. Yeah, he should not have done it, but you know what? I'm okay with that. They do have to start winning. The season's not over. This is the second week coming up. You're playing a Browns team that you can beat, but your quarterback has to play so much better. Like John brought up, if you have to make a change and go to Mike White, it is what it is. If you're down 13-0 and the offense is not moving the ball, you can't just stick with your quarterback, especially, when he's taking so long to be able to deliver the ball to his playmakers, not able to move in the pocket and do certain things. You're not going to ask him to roll out like Zach Wilson does. The system is made for Zach, but there's no way that you're going to tell me that the offense wasn't able to, take more of a chance downfield. But he's not going to win that battle with the fans, but I was okay with that as a fan. I do apologize to the fans that have been suffering for so long, but at times I'm okay with certain things, that a coach may say. And in that case, I'm okay with, with what he said. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I've gone back and forth with this. I was on with Jake Asman earlier, and he was asking about the fan thing. I saw someone post it, and if it was someone in this chat, apologize, but they were kind of pointing to the fourth quarter of the building is empty. I don't think the building was empty at all. I think there was a mixture of I'm not making excuses for people, so just take that with a grain of salt. But I do think you look at it and can go, terrible weather. Obviously, the rain wasn't that bad, but bad weather always just sucks. It just puts everyone in a different mood. I think for whatever reason, I think the buzz with no Zach, the news of, I think if anyone didn't think Zach was playing at all, which he realistically was never going to play, but this week, but if Zach's playing, the buzz in the stadium would have been very different. I think, for whatever reason, the opponent, I don't know what it was, but it just felt like, when you don't score points, you don't move the ball offensively. People can only get so excited for third downs, and the Jets defense again was playing well, and I thought the building was loud at points in the beginning of the game, but I thought the energies in the building overall, there was like this kind of somber, I don't know what it was. I'm not sure what was going on, but I hope that's not an all season thing, because I genuinely love. There's nothing better than being in a loud atmosphere, and the Jets got to give fans a reason to cheer, though. They know that. Fans are going to be more pessimistic than a normal home opener for a normal team, because again, won a game in September and feels like decades, even though it's obviously been less than that. But no, so that, as well as look, fans, and Sal calling out the fans or not calling out the fans, whatever it was. Clearly, people took it the way that he was calling them out. So they got to back it up on Sundays, and just start winning games. Everyone's going to say, "Oh, we want Sal here for a decade," and they keep losing games, and not doing well, and people are going to call for his head. That's the way the business works, and it's the way New York works. You're successful, people love you forever, and if it'll be the other way around. So
No, absolutely. Tough.
It's the way it works.
He just has to win.
Yeah,
a lot of people are doubting him.
Win and Joey and whoever else was kind of like down on Salah and whatever, they'll be praising him just like everybody else will be, because he's is winning, and if he doesn't win, they'll be vindicated in their belief that he wasn't the guy. So it's the way, unfortunately, the business works, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's go to Juice. What's going on, Juice?
Hey, can I go after the next person? I'm getting my son ready right quick.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Vice. Let's go to Vice.
Hey, Pete, can I say something real fast? Just real fast, guys.
Joe, you got people been waiting for an hour, bro.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, Geno Smith's 20 for 21 for like 300 yards tonight.
Good.
Yeah, he's absolutely balling.
And
Yeah, Joe wants him back.
God bless him in his jaw, bro.
No, it's typical Jet.
Well, I feel like, and Will, thanks for taking questions here, and lounge, peace to everybody. It always seems like, just at least taking this current iteration of the Jets into account, where their main issue tends to be momentum. You saw guys get open. I mean, people were talking about receivers not separating. Guys were getting open. The scheme definitely left something to be desired, but it always seems like the biggest issue is just the momentum killing drops or mistakes that this team constantly has. And Salah, I mean, look, he's not great with the media. I mean, that's his bottom line. And I'm willing to give him a little leeway in his comments, because I don't think he's mad at the Jets fan base per se. I think I kind of side with you, Will, where I think he's more upset at the football verse than, the Jet fans in particular. I think he's just mad at the overall information that poses the Jets in a negative light. But these guys seem to not be able to concentrate in key moments. Now, I know all you guys, Jet Lounge guys, you guys were at practice. What is going on in these practices that you think should be different, or should it be different, that would ultimately lead these players to have a little bit more focus when it comes to key points in the game? Because again, I mean, I think you pointed out those 6 or 7 plays. It was 10-3, and if they score one touchdown, 7-10 going into the half, it's a whole different ball game. So where do you think Salah as a coach falls short when it comes to his players' preparation? Because it just seems to me like they are not mentally prepared on the offensive side of the ball to lock in and make plays. Like, what do you think that comes from?
I mean, look, I think there's a mixture of things. I think sometimes guys get overexcited, and especially when you're young, you kind of overhype yourself, and it's the hyper, trying to be perfect, and I think you put pressure on yourself too much. I think there's these guys feel pressure to win, and I think like they need. I really truly think like they need that they need to win that one game where like it's early in the year and you win 2 in a row, which obviously they haven't done it forever, and all these things. But be able to win 1, 2 in a row, you start to string together confidence, and all of a sudden it spirals. You just have to break that mold. And again, I don't know all the solutions because obviously it'd be nice just to get good quarterback play and just catch the ball and make kicks. I just think this is going to be a team where I think if things start to go right, I think they're going to go really right, and people are going to start seeing really awesome stuff. But while they're not going right now, I think that you're going to see, things like yesterday happen where they kind of spirals out of nowhere. Just because, you have to learn sometimes how to, how not to lose as well as just, how to win. It's a crazy league, and you see it with some of these franchises. You have to break that mold. Cleveland had to kind of break that mold, and it sucks. You're in a spiral, and they need to break it. And you got to hope that this week can start something. I'll keep saying it. If you can come home 1-1, that building will be a lot more energetic coming home. Going, oh, can we win 2 in a row? We beat this team last year. You'll feel good about it. You'll see, wow, we win another game in September. Can we go 2-1? Can we have Zach come back in they're 2-1 going into Pittsburgh with no TJ Watt, no Najee Harris? Can we, that's what you need to start having to happen. You can't, have the, get down early and then it feels like, I don't know if I've said it before, but sometimes it feels like it's 35-0, and it shouldn't be that way. Because you look at the Giants, they're down 13-0 yesterday. They have no offense. They come back and they win the game, right? So, you got to break that mold of, kind of falling into the trap of being same old Jets, quote unquote, and all of a sudden, you might have something special, at least going forward. Obviously, some momentum, something to be excited about.
I will say I take a little solace in the fact that I don't know about everybody else, but you can see a difference in talent.
Oh yeah, they're a much better team. Like there's actually exciting people to watch. That's not been the case.
Yeah, and it's like I said. I mean, they just have mental lapses in crucial moments, and hopefully, Saleh can figure out a way to get his guys to really hone in because again, 6 or 7 plays is really what the difference was, and I mean, there's enough talent on that team that they should be able to squeak out a win in September. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You got to win some. You got to win at some point, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if Saleh, just his style of coaching, leads to them having these mental lapses when it comes to drops and miscues. I don't know.
No, I think it's more just. Like guys pressing, and when you start to press, and sometimes, for some guys, it's like they got to get hit early on or whatever it is. That stuff's correctable, though. That's mental of focusing and all these different things. But end of the day, man, drops are not excusable. Dumb penalties not excusable. Those things aren't, and you had to hope they get those things fixed.
Let's get to Will. You got time for a few more? Right?
Yeah, I got time for like 5 more minutes, and I
gotta
bounce.
Guys, make it quick. Let's just do one take, and that's it.
Hey, if he got time, and I know he's a Jets guy. I don't want if other Jets fans got things to say. I'm a Ravens fan, so I was just going to speak from my perspective. I heard some things that y'all said, so if more Jets fans want to give questions to Will, I let them. I don't want.
Go for it, bro.
Okay, so I mean, more so me being a Ravens fan, watching that game, I would say hey man, I started watching the game more so in the second quarter because I was on the move. I want to say a little bit of the first. But when I went back and just saying damn, we got an interception and we couldn't score, right there at the goal line. I said our offense started off really slow. It was times where I was just frustrated with the offense, what was going on. The defense was bringing some excitement, but I can't say for it to be. I heard from fan base and everything, it's 9-11, this and that. It's gonna be good. I did not see energy from y'all for a fact. So what Tanah say, I can't agree with that. So that's why I always felt as a fan, okay. They're not scoring. They're not affecting. Even though we're starting off slow, it feels like we're still in this game. Granted, I mean, we're still leading this game by a lot. Granted, I feel as though even though we won by 15, if we would have played our game, I think we should have won a lot. And the time is, y'all had the ball way more than us and ran a whole lot more plays than us. And so I just feel as though what you guys did, the Jets look good in my opinion. defensively, I like what y'all was doing on defense because y'all made it frustrating for like our offense at the time, and we were starting off slow. So, but like offensively, y'all had the ball. I really think y'all should have kept trying to feed our running backs because there was times where I got scared a little bit. Oof, Brees Hall might break one, So it's like I think y'all didn't take advantage of getting the ball out of Flacco hands so quick, and no reason Garrett Wilson should be on the sideline. There's no reason, no reason at all.
Yeah, I think you look at just I was talking. I went to Towson for the first 2 years, so I still got Ravens fans all over my timeline. Some of my teammates I played with down there, so I was getting texts all the time. I think the Ravens fans were like, "Wow, I got the Jets were a lot better than we thought they were going to be, especially defensively." But look, it's frustrating because I feel like the Ravens probably played a C plus B minus game if you really think about it. I don't think that was that's not Ravens in peak form, but you look at the Jets, and that's why like Sal's comments, and I know we keep going back to Sal's comments because I think everyone's worked up about him, but it's annoying because yes, if you really look at if you go back and watch it, yeah, the Jets probably lost the game more than the Ravens won it because the Jets made a lot more mistakes than the Ravens. It was obviously had those couple of big plays, but man, like it's just hard when you hear that because it's like whatever, we still lost. You know what I mean? And that's like the coach speak where, well, there is a lot of truth to it. And as we mentioned, there's some plays where they go the other way. We're maybe talking about something very different. We're not. The Jets didn't make those plays. The Ravens did, and I think it's interesting to watch. The reactions from on the other side of it. Again, I think there was obviously I can't talk for all the fans. I can only make the amount of noise I can make at one game, but I did think the building was more dead than I was expecting. I don't know if it was the rain plus Zach plus 9/11 plus there's a Yankee playoff game and playoff level game against the Rays in a division race at the same time, the same day. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely different than I was expecting.
Well, real quick, I was, in the hangar part in the mezzanine for the first quarter, and I was screaming at people, "Get up!" Like
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
on
weird. It
my
was like
feet.
it was like just like a somber mood. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. It was weird.
I know, man. It was crazy, and that national anthem was pretty powerful, man.
No, it was
Listening to
awesome.
that.
It was awesome, and I felt like the early on in the game, it's just hard, man. The Jets come out first play, but I think they had 22-yard Carter, a 22-yard run. You're like,
Yep.
It was loud in there. You're like, wow, okay, here we go. And then people just like sat down, and then like defensively, it was loud at points, but like not, it's just it's hard. Oh my God, the Seahawks, Broncos cannot stop fumbling. But like what are you? I'm telling you, man, when you get off to a slow start offensively, it's just so hard to keep the crowd engaged. It's one of those things where, again, I'm not excuse making, but it's just like you watch it when you're scoring points, the crowd. It's so much easier to keep the crowd engaged than when you're not. You can only get so amped about defense. Like look at the Seahawks tonight. The crowd super loud to start. Boy, they go down and score right away. So now everyone's engaged, right? Like they're
Yep.
looking for something as opposed to up, 3 and out. Why am I even going to get on my feet when you're going to definitely not, when you're not going to score, you're not going to get a first down. It puts everyone in a bad spot.
Yeah, guys. Will's gonna take one more question, and then I have Antoine coming on. So if you have your hand up and you didn't get to Will, you could ask Antoine. So let's go to Joe B.
Hey, I'll make this quick. So yeah, unfortunately, I hate that I'm at the point where I'm pretty much out on Saleh because he really got me back to being a Jets fan after those 2 years of Gase, those soul-sucking years. And Will, you were kind of touching on it 2 questions ago about how he's Saleh's a rah-rah guy, he's a cheerleader. You think he'd be high energy, and yet the Jets look lackluster and have no energy. And you've touched on it with like the baseball analogies where it almost seems like the team is pressing, you can't hit the ball because you're gripping the bat too tight. What have you seen from him and the coaching staff that makes you think that they're able to adjust in the game and be able to pull these guys and, get their head out of their butt or just like loosen up and play football? He's talking about it in the press conferences. He's saying like that we're close. And like, I believe him. I think he really has a good beat on the team, but it doesn't seem like he knows how to, for lack of a more eloquent way, get out of his own way, how to get his team to just play to win.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I was kind of trying to explain this. Like, I think that your baseball analogy is great. Like, I think it's when it's, you're trying so hard to not lose that you end up kind of getting in your own way. And I just think they need one or two breaks, especially when you have a young roster like this. These guys don't know any better, and like I do think that's why you look at the CJ Uzamas and the Lincoln Tomlinson guys that have actually won in the league and kind of seen it and kind of trying to influence guys. It's just breaking that mold of like people. Oh, we're on the Jets. Like you got to just at some point. Everyone's got to kind of break that mold, and I think the guys are bought in. I think they get it. I think they, the staff as well. Like I think they have potential to be a really nice coaching staff. It's frustrating because you go in and like I thought I saw improvement from Salah last year, especially the second half of the year. I thought he got better with fourth downs. I think the process was better. I thought they didn't, getting blown out and things of that nature stopped. Even, they could have gone into Buffalo. I know no one cares about that game, but like, week 18 last year, they have nobody, and like everyone's hurt. They're playing the number one seed. The Bills are playing their starters because they're trying to get home field, and like Jets competed. Like that's what I guess was frustrating yesterday. Is it felt like that third quarter, like they worked all camp on like every camp they were, day during camp they're practicing where in the middle of camp there was a break, like there's like a 7-minute break, as if it was like halftime. They kind of practiced for this stuff and they came out and they were so flat. So I don't know. It's got to change. I know I keep saying it, but like you got to break that habit of playing to not lose. Like go play to win. Like
Can I give you the example? So if you heard his press conference when he was talking about Dan Smash, who's his situational coach.
Yeah.
And Smash was saying, go for it. It was that Wilson
third down, 4th and 1 on the 35. They're down 3-0.
I really believe that's what he's got to do to shake this up. Is he's got to just go for broke, because there's one coach I remember, and remember when Ron Rivera got the Riverboat Ron nickname. I think that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. There was a point where Carolina was kind of in the same situation. They were playing tight, but it's like Rivera knew this team was good enough, and he started going for broke because you're at that point where like, what have you got to lose? And I think that, to me, I could be wrong, I don't know the situation, but it feels to me like Salah's got to look at it and just say, the hell with it. We're not going anywhere right now. You might as well, like, damn the torpedoes, go down fighting and try it, because that feels like that will break everyone out of this kind of stupor.
Yeah, I think, like, it's the one thing is, like, it's trying to find that balance, obviously, between, being aggressive and being stupid, where I think last year Brandon Staley towed that line pretty damn hard. I think we've talked about that before, where he's a media darling because he goes for it one week and the next week he goes for it on his own 20 for no reason and they lose. I don't know that I kind of agree they shouldn't have gone for it then, but I think there was a few other times. I like the fact that he explained his process, though. I do think it's important sometimes where he does do a lot of coach speak and, for lack of a better term, bullshitting, because that's what happens in the NFL. But I thought it was nice to hear the process of going, him being honest. It was like our offense just wasn't rolling enough at that point where I felt even remotely confident they could get it. And I was like, all right, at least I can see it. I understand it. But in the future, I'd like to see them, where they kick a field goal. Obviously, the first field goal, it was 3rd and 5. They should have gotten it, whatever. I just would like to see them be aggressive as a team where they're aggressive on defense. I've liked what they've seen. I saw defensively. Offensively, let's be aggressive. What do you have to lose? If there's teams hyper aggressive and playing hard every week, they end up 6-11 and, you see drastic improvement, you'll feel good about it. I don't think people would much rather that than going 6-11 where there's pedestrian kind of like boring team to watch every week. And it's like, okay, we won 2 more games, but we don't really know if we're any good. You just want to be a fun team to watch, and that comes along usually with some W's. Seattle's playing electric right now, but they're a team realistically this year is going to be pretty boring to watch. Generally speaking, if they go 6-11, no one's going to care. But they play like they are tonight, where they're playing fast and physical, and kind of leaving it all out there. You're going to be at least remotely feel pretty good about it. Gino is ridiculous. Where was this? Oh, man.
He's been good tonight.
Remember when he slept through practice because he was at the movies or whatever?
Yeah. Remember when he beat Atlanta at that last second?
Yeah, Monday Night Football, man.
Yeah, I actually won a pool because of that, Will.
Yeah, that was a good time, man. I thought we were destined. They were 3-2 after that. Feeling good.
Yep.
Well,
Tanad, you got something? Because Will's
yeah.
gonna leave after this, and then we'll get
Well,
Antoine up.
can you take one more?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Benny. What's going on, Benny?
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? I just want to get your thoughts because I kind of been on this vibe all day today. Real quick, to me, I understand the whole Robert Saleh is a good players coach. He's friends with a lot of people. You can tell people want to play for him and because he respects everyone. But to me, I feel like it's almost too much. I feel like there needs to be a little bit more of a fine line where it's just when you're playing terrible, you should be able to call people out for it. Going into the press conference, being point blank, Joyner messed up this coverage here. He didn't have a good game today. And I don't know, hold people accountable. Brandon, man, you've been horrible for a while. There's punters out there on the market. Get out of here. Something. There's just too much. Oh, it's okay. You're a pro. They're gonna figure it out because each day they try hard. It's I've been hearing that for a while from a lot of different coaches. We're trying hard. I need a little bit more. I need people to be held accountable. I don't see much of that. It's people who are okay with making mistakes just because we're trying hard. That isn't okay, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's tough, right? It's a lot of times, like I said, I think he's trying to protect his guys and deflect the blame off of them. But at the same time, sometimes it comes off as if he's making excuses, and I know, I know no one wants to hear that stuff anymore. I think that's part of the problem is being a rah positive guy. I think people respect and relate to so much, but I think the fan base is down bad right now, and the last thing they want to hear is someone trying to turn it positively. And I think that's I do think these guys are held accountable and all these things. I do think at the same time it's hard to kind of blame you and blame anybody that feels that way. It's man, I wouldn't mind hearing oh, this guy didn't play well, this whatever. That's not really Saleh's style, but at the same time, I thought this is the most fiery I've heard him. Honestly, some of the quotes, whether people like him or not, haven't really heard this side of Saleh. So I think he's feeling the pressure. I think everyone is, and I think again, they got to come out and show it on Sunday, and go get a win in Cleveland. You flip the narrative around, because I think if you do that, people are going to be in a much different situation where get a September win, you went on the road, you're coming back home. I think people feel a lot better than they do right now, where everyone's like, when's the next win going to come? And we're only in week 1, and people are asking me about who they should draft. I don't want to talk about the draft for another at least 14 weeks. Maybe week 17 or 18.
Well,
but I don't know if I could do it right now.
Well, we spent freaking so much time on this lounge talking about the draft. It was just exhausting. So listen, man, we appreciate you coming on, and
yeah, of course, I really appreciate you guys.
I'll come see you at the Miami game, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll have you on after the Miami game
no,
that
we'd love
Monday
to,
night,
man.
right?
No,
Hey,
we'd love to.
Pete, can I ask
Appreciate
you one
you
more
guys.
question?
No, we got to get to
Hold on,
Antoine, Joe.
Well,
Will's gonna go.
thank you for coming on, man. We
Yeah,
always
appreciate it. No, I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, we're gonna welcome in now Antoine Staley from the Daily News. Antoine, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on for a quick couple minutes. And just want to ask you, what's first of all, the game or whatever, but what was your thoughts on the Saleh press conference today?
Just a little spicy, but I mean, he's just, I was kind of a little surprised he went with the receipts line, but I mean, I guess he really feels confident about this team, and I really feel good about the defense. I like what they put on the field yesterday. It's just, offensively, it's hard to tell what this team is, especially with Joe Flacco out there, because he's a future. I mean, he's just kind of a placeholder until Zach Wilson gets back. It's just unfortunate that you don't have Zach out there to kind of analyze where the offense might be potentially there. But yeah, it's they have to win this game, I think, against Cleveland, because considering next few opponents when you got, Cincinnati week 3 and then Pittsburgh week 4 and then the Dolphins after that and Green Bay. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want this thing to kind of snowball and get out of control. So I think, this week is, crucial for the Jets.
Yep. Guys, if you have a quick question, Antoine's got about 15 minutes. So, all right, I'm going to get to Rusty real quick because she's been having she must have tendonitis in her elbow. Sorry, Rusty.
What's up, Rusty?
Go ahead, Rusty.
Thanks. Antoine.
Hey, how you doing?
Listen, I have a question.
Yes.
Given that they've known that Joe was going to be the quarterback for at least 3 weeks.
Yes.
For this game, do you think, and I clearly know what I think, that they made any changes to what their game plan would be based on the fact of the differences between him and Zach?
Well, I think they probably tried to, but also, you have to take it into account. I don't know if, I think, had Zach or anybody really trying that offensive line, I think it would have been a problem just simply because, they were getting, the Ravens were getting pushed up the middle. So if you had Mike White in there, you had Joe Flacco, you had Zach Wilson, I feel like they would have been under duress either way. It's just the simple fact that, you have a makeshift offensive line that's come together, very quickly because, Dwayne Brown, who you pay, $22 million to, or you have a $22 million contract, has a shoulder injury, and now you have to move George Fant back to left, and you having all these it's a not an ideal situation, especially when you don't have that continuity, that you usually build through training camp and things of that nature. But yeah, I think they tried to have, a different game plan, but I just think that, with everything happening so fast, it's kind of hard. And you got to give credit to the Ravens. I think they did what they had to do, and presented a lot of pressure, with blitz, and this also, their front four as well. So yeah, you got to give credit to them.
Antoine, what I saw that I didn't realize. I know Sauce broke up that pass, but man, he saw that cover. If he didn't break the other way, Andrews would have been open by like 25 yards, and he recovered so quick. I haven't seen that from a corner in a long time, man. That was some play. Did you see the highlight of that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it like kind of happen in real time too. But yeah,
Right, right.
I definitely watched the game over again today, and yeah, it was definitely nice, like to see it the second time. But yeah, you kind of saw, especially where I was up in the press spot, you saw kind of like he just closed the closing speed on that, which is pretty impressive. I thought both corners, him and DJ Reed did a tremendous job yesterday. LaMarcus Joyner, not so much, but I definitely think the cornerbacks did a really tremendous job yesterday for the Jets.
Yeah, and I think Whitehead played good too. Besides, he played very
Yeah.
good against the run. His pass coverage was suspect a little bit at the end, but overall, he was up there making hard hits too. He knocked that ball free once, on that pass. So I thought Whitehead was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the defense. I think the defense did what it could. It just, when you're out there so many times and your offense isn't producing any points, of course you're going to get tired, and it's gonna eventually break. So I think they did exactly what they were doing, and the Ravens were just able to take advantage on some explosive plays.
Tanad, you got something, Tanad?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Rusty.
What's
Rusty, go ahead. Go ahead, Rusty.
Oh, go ahead, Rusty.
Okay,
I have a
well,
couple things to point out. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask because even last year, I didn't see any in-game adjustments. And that was one of my concerns with the coaching staff. Now, I'm talking about the defense. I think the defense did pretty well in what they could. But at the offense, they were still calling the same kind of plays, even though they were not successful. And I don't know. I'm not a coach, so I don't know enough to know what they could have done. But I've heard from everyone around here that there were different types of plays they could have called in order to make it easier for Joe Flacco, since he was not mobile at all.
I don't know, especially when you have the offensive line in the state it is in, and the Raiders were getting pressure. I thought they did make it adjust because I think they tried to run the ball early. especially after the Michael Carter run. And then they were just going to it a little bit too much. And then the Ravens was like, yeah, we're just going to, sit on the run and just force you to pass it. And then at that point, the Jets definitely had to pass. So I definitely think they adjusted to that a little bit. But, they wasn't successful simply because Joe Flacco was under the rest a lot of the day, too. I don't know what you can really do about that. I mean, you can throw a little short passes, but still, if you're getting, the pressure's coming up the middle and coming up pretty fast, and like I said, I don't think it was all on Joe Flacco, especially, his limitations and everything. It was just not a good problem to have, and now you got to deal with that, possibly for for the next few weeks too, as well, while you wait for if Dwayne Brown gets healthy and is able to come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for my question, because I was wondering if there wasn't something they could have done.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess I can kind of see what your point is, but yeah, I don't know what much they could do, especially when the pressure was coming up the middle so fast like that.
Thanks, Antoine.
Yeah, of course.
Antoine, what's going on? Thank you for
Hey.
coming, man. Always appreciate your work.
Yeah, no problem.
Couple of things that I wanted to bring up that you spoke about. Number one was the defense. I really love, especially at the cornerback position, to be able to have two guys that that can go out there and be able to hang with just any type of receivers. I think it's gonna, help this defense drastically. I loved, the way that we played the running game yesterday, even though Lamar got out of that sack, and I was furious at the time because that would have been a big play. He would have lost about 9 yards on that play, and he escaped. I couldn't believe it. Being in the area that we were in, I looked back at my friend who was sitting, a couple rows behind me, and I was just like so in shock that he broke out of that, because that was definitely going to be a sack. I saw that to celebrate and everything. So when he made that play, I was just like, man. But I do love, the way that the defense played, even with the, the couple big plays that ended up being a touchdown. The one that everyone is talking about is the Bryce Hall touchdown, which to me, he still played fine coverage on it. If you look at it, it was much closer than it actually, people are making it seem to be. And as soon as he came in the game, he was attacked. That didn't happen all game, but as soon as he came in and, they attacked him. So I think, that also plays into the disadvantage when it comes to, guys like him. They're going to get beat at times, and especially, like he doesn't have the quickness and the strides to be able to really keep up with a speedy guy. I think the coaching staff, when it comes to Ulbrich, I think he should have made an adjustment to be able to have someone as a, someone that could really help over the top. I'm not sure what happened on that coverage, but I think the help should have been much closer than it was, in order to be able to help him. What do you think about those couple things?
I mean, they were playing coverages. I know they played some, diamond coverage, for short, as well. And Robert Saleh talked about that too as well. And yeah, I mean, that's just not something that they normally do, but they were trying to just kind of negate what the Ravens were trying to do. But yeah, I mean, you see Bryce Hall out there. I'm sure they saw the preseason and what the Falcons were able to do there, and figure that he's probably the weak link of the defense, and yeah, it proved to be right. So yeah, I mean, I mean, he's your fourth cornerback, really. I mean, you have you have your nickel, and then obviously you have Sauce and DJ Reed too as well. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to play that type of coverage, you got to know that a lot of times that the teams know Bryce Hall is kind of the weak link there, and they're going to probably attack him. And you saw that against the Falcons in the preseason, and you definitely saw that yesterday in the game against the Falcons.
Let's go to Matty Ice real quick. What's going on, Matty?
What's up, Todd? Hey, Antoine, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, look, you've been in a lot of stadiums. You've worked in Carolina, Oregon. Like, can you just give us your honest opinion of that, how the atmosphere in MetLife when the game started? What did you honestly?
It was pretty live. It was live. It was electric. Obviously 9/11, and people. Obviously it was a different type of emotion there. It was good to be in the building for that. Just to see the festivities and things of that nature too. And I feel like people were pumped up for the game too. And I think the atmosphere was great, especially in the second, at halftime, really, because I think people thought the Jets had a legit shot, especially what they were doing on the defensive end. So yeah, I definitely. I thought it was a great atmosphere out there. Tailgate, I was out there kind of walking around. I kind of like to walk around a little bit, just kind of, even though I don't necessarily know a lot of people, tailgate, I just kind of like to get a feel of, kind of what the atmosphere is. So if people out there tailgate, for the Cincinnati game, I'll be happy to come by and say hello too as well. So
Man, we'll feed you next time.
no, I don't
Right?
I don't need to be fed. I just kind of
I
I
know.
just like going, because they
But
feed
you're
us in the
always
press
welcome,
box
bro.
too. But yeah, I'll definitely come by.
Antoine, I don't know if I can make it, before Zach Wilson comes back, man. What I saw on the field yesterday, I'm sorry, what I saw on the field yesterday just hurt offensively.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you. Yeah. I mean, it just feels like you got the defense playing so well, and it seems like, especially how bad they were a year ago, and then you have just what you presented on the field offensively. I thought the running game. I thought Michael Carter was fantastic. I thought Brees Hall had some moments too as well, but yeah, obviously the offensive line and Joe Flacco were kind of a bit of the weak links there. I know Flacco threw for over 100 yards, but a lot of that was kind of garbage time yards. But yeah, I just think that yeah, I mean, like I said again, I think this week is going to determine a lot. I mean, they're playing a Browns team that came off a win in Carolina. Obviously, people know about the situation playing Baker Mayfield, but the fact of the matter is the Browns have a really good front four, obviously led by Myles Garrett. So it's not going to get any easier this upcoming week. Especially moving forward as well, where you got Cincinnati week 3, and luckily you don't have to play T.J. Watt in week 4, because he's injured right now, but yeah, the Steelers are still going to beat as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough sledding until Zach Wilson gets back. But you just have to hope that maybe the supporting cast of the Jets offensively can give them some hope, and maybe they make some changes this upcoming week.
Yeah, and I think this is, to me, a must win this week if you want to have a decent season. Like you stated, you're playing the Bengals week 3. And you're playing the Steelers defense that's always going to play well with Mike Tomlin. So you have a chance to at least keep the season afloat right now, or it could get ugly real quick, because once you go 0-3, 0-4, and then Zach is possibly coming back, you're not helping your young quarterback. You're going to put so much pressure on him now. He has to win.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, yeah, that's why I feel like it's kind of unfortunate that, Zach is coming back where he is, because, realistically, this team could be 0-3, and then now the kind of pressure is on, and now, obviously with the receipts comment too, people are really going to be, pressuring, Robert Saleh and, the Jets to possibly do something there. I don't think his job is in jeopardy, but at the same time that you definitely need to start adding up, some results too sooner or later. I know he took over a bad situation, from Adam Gase, but at the same time, yeah, people need to start seeing, results. And I know the schedule is tough at the beginning of the year, but people want to see, people might not thought this team would make the playoffs, but people want to see hope and, eventually have this team, see if this team could, become a contender in the AFC.
Let's get to Richie real quick, and then Tony, and then Antoine's going to get out of here. Go ahead, Rich.
Hey, Antoine, really appreciate the work you've done. Thank you so much for joining us and taking your time tonight.
Yeah, of course.
So you were just talking about Salah, but do you think that leash could be getting shorter with Woody? Because I'm just imagining Woody's looking around the league right now. He's seeing what the Giants are doing. He's seeing the Falcons and the Seahawks are teams that we all thought were tanking, and they're looking really good. Their offenses are looking at least competitive. And then you look at his team, and really the Jets were the only team that basically the game was over in the third quarter, week 1. Like, it just feels like to me, Woody is just getting sick and tired of this, and especially with the Jets being the punchline and the same old Jet stuff. Do you think that from what's going on around the league, this might, speed up the process on Salah, or maybe wane Woody's patience more than usual?
Well, what I'll say is this: it's week 1. I know people like to overreact, You know, it's people just got to realize everybody like, well, other than the Colts and Texans. I mean, they had a tie, but most you had teams that win, and then you had teams that amount of teams that ended up losing yesterday. With just just because you start 0-1 doesn't mean that it's a death sentence, and just because you start 1-0 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make the playoffs. Now, like I think I think what's alarming is I think how bad the offense was, but again. You don't know necessarily. It's hard to gauge it because Zach Wilson's not in there. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, the leash could be short. I mean, obviously we're in a market where people want results and want them quickly, and this totally surprised me if Woody Johnson would have fired Robert Saleh. Not totally, but at the same time, I don't think firing coaches after 2 years is the recipe for success. You fired Adam Gase after 2 years, but I thought that was deservedly so. Especially considering what a roster was. I feel like, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas have improved this roster quite a bit. But again, you have to, I think you at least got to give it 3 years. I really do. You look at San Francisco, especially when Saleh was there under Kyle Shanahan, the first 2 years were kind of, really bad seasons, but they were able to kind of start. That's the third year they started to turn things around there. I think you have to give them 3 years, like especially considering, the Zach Wilson injury and some of the other injuries that they have, and also just the fact of what a roster was when they got here. And I feel like they've completely changed the roster to the point where, now I feel like maybe next year. I always thought next year anyway. I think will be the key, to seeing this team, can they contend? But now, like I say again, with Zach Wilson's injury, you kind of, you're kind of waiting to see if he can be the guy. We still have the answer to that, but we need to have the answer to that as well, like the rest of the years. So that I guess that if that hopefully that answers your question there.
Yeah,
It's kind of a little bit long winded, but yeah.
It was a lot question, and yeah, Antoine. Like, no, I'm of the opinion of you. Like, I think every coach deserves 3 years. I trust me. Like, I know the question might not sound it, but I am incredibly patient. But I just seeing I'm wondering if Woody, because we have seen him in the past, try to grab that headline, the back page.
Oh yeah,
is just upset because it's not just that the Jets lost in week 1. I mean, their offense wasn't competitive, and you're looking around this league like tonight. Geno Smith and the Seahawks are beating the Broncos tonight. Like, I'm just saying, optically around the league, and I understand Joe Flacco's a backup, but you saw Marcus Mariota play well. You saw Davis Mills play well. You saw Justin Fields playing a freaking monsoon and beat the 49ers. It just felt like this week, everything outside of the Jets loss just made the Jets loss worse, because it just felt like everything outside the Jets that made the Jets look worse just seemed to happen as well to compound the issue.
I get it. Like, yeah, it's an optics standpoint. Like, yeah, I mean, it does not look good from the outside looking in. And, I think if, people, it's easy for people just to say, and I think that's kind of what, Tyler Conklin was saying after the game, is like, people are going to say it's the same old shit, but they feel like it's not. They feel like this team is much better than, obviously he wasn't here last year, but, people feel like this team is a lot better than other Jets teams in the past. And Robert Saleh also feels like that too. And I feel like roster wise, I think this team is better. I just think it's hard to get where they are just because you have a guy in there who's not going to be, your starting quarterback moving forward. And, we need to see the guy who is going to, or at least who you think can be the starting quarterback, and see how he plays with the offense.
And Antoine, I don't think Woody Johnson wants to pay Adam Gase next year, who's still under contract, Robert Saleh, and then another coach $10 million a year. So I think Saleh's got at least 3 here.
Yeah, I think they'll give him a third year at least, and unless they just completely bottom out, and they go 1-16, and I think all bets are off at that point. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think so.
Yeah, Antoine, do you have time for 2 quick ones?
Yeah. I mean,
right.
Go ahead.
I don't want to rush. I don't want to say and get out of here, but I know you're limited on time, and I appreciate you coming on as always. Tony, go ahead.
Hey, Antoine, how you doing? I'm just watching Geno Smith turn into Joe Montana on TV, so I'm obviously not good.
Hey, I hadn't seen Geno Smith play this well since he had a perfect quarterback rating against the Dolphins.
It's like West Virginia, Geno Smith. It's like NCAA like football.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the only time I say Geno, like the last game of the season when in 2014 when the Dolphins had a chance to make the playoffs, and this man was like he had a perfect quarterback rating. Like that's the best I've ever seen Geno Smith play outside the night.
It's crazy. But anyway, back to my question. I'm actually a Baltimore resident, and I run the Baltimore Jets fan base down here. Like we had a big get together, about 70, 80 deep.
Oh, I love Baltimore too. One of my favorite cities.
I hate it
Orioles
now.
guy.
Well, I hate it now. Even my mailman's talking shit to me, so it's like
Oh
pretty.
yeah, I'm sure.
But you know, I'm like, I hope he tripped down my stairs. How about that? But you know, it's like, just a quick question, and I know, I think Rich kind of glossed over what I'm kind of trying to say. Say if Zach comes back, and you know, he shows signs of progress, even though you know it's nothing like mind bending. It's just like, you know, a little bit of progress, a little bit here and there, and it's another losing season, and you know, it is what it is. Like, I mean, he shows like minimal signs of progress, or you know, something. I don't want to get like over the hill, but like, you know, he just shows a little bit of promise, but we don't know. Who do you think has a longer leash as far as concerned? Salah after a season, say that season ends, it's a losing season. Who has a longer leash, Salah or Wilson? Like, who do you think?
Well, I think they're tied at the hip. I think anytime you take a quarterback during your tenure, you're kind of tied at that hip. And I think we saw it with the Cardinals, you know, when they made a change from, you know, Josh Rosen and, you know, Cliff Kingsbury came in there and they took Kyler Murray. So anytime I think you have a new guy coming in there, you never know, because I think a lot of the times the owner or the general manager will give them, you know, a bit of a latitude to say, you know what, we can, if you really like this guy, we might decide to take him. So I definitely think, you know, I think they're kind of tied at the hip and, you know, that whole perspective. So yeah, I think, you know, unless Zach Wilson, I mean, if Wilson goes out and, you know, throws for like 30 touchdowns and, you know, maybe the Jets, you know, still have a losing season and they decide to fire Robert Saleh, yeah, okay. They might decide to keep him too. But at the same time, if the new guy wants, you know, a new quarterback and, you know, the Jets have been struggling, then I have a hard time believing they wouldn't accommodate him in that manner. So, yeah, I guess I hope that answers your question.
Good question, Tony. Ground and pun. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, I joined in a little bit late. I didn't hear the whole entire conversation, but I was you know, in on the Jet Lounge yesterday after the game, and nice to meet everybody, by the way. Hello. But what I really saw out of the game was just an overall like really bad performance on offense. And one of the things that I noticed all game was like Laker Tomlinson, just like it was almost like the guy was playing like injured. Like that's how ineffective he was. It was brutal. It reminded me of like Van Roten. And so, you know, at one point somebody on the lounge yesterday said that he you know was a Pro Bowl, then another person said he was an All Pro. And then I go to look up his resume before I get on this chat here. And the first thing I saw when I looked up his name is that he had the worst offensive like lineman like performance in the whole entire league yesterday. So
wow.
it's like especially when your pass protection in the middle is nothing like what it was for the Jets.
Yeah.
I like I said it yesterday. I think Flacco was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
I think thank God it was for Zach Wilson's sake. Thank God it was Flacco. And I feel like if it was Darnold behind there, or even like Wilson last year, I think we would have been seeing one of those 3 or 4 interception games, and even worse. I mean, Flacco, at least the guy put up 300 yards behind the line. That was just wow. It was good. I'm not going to kill Fant because it's been their best.
Ground and pun. He put up all those yards though in garbage time in
Yes.
my eyes.
Yeah, you know what though, guys? You know what though? Nobody else did it. 2 years ago against the Broncos, the Jets netted 404. They netted 4 offensive total yards in the
Yeah, but I
second
don't,
half of a game.
and
They
they
can't even
also,
do anything in
Brandon,
garbage time. That's
they
how bad
also
they've been.
they also netted Adam Gase too. So let's not even
Here-
go that
Here's what
route.
I'll say too. Like,
They
yeah, I
won
think.
more. They did better under Adam Gase than Salah so far. It's just
Oh,
they're just that bad, dude. They're just that bad. Man.
well,
It's just
you got to consider like he took over a bad situation from Adam Gase. Like Adam Gase had a, mediocre first year at 7-9, and then they completely bottomed out the year after that. Which that's the kind of the roster
that was
that
that was a
Salah
fake
took over
seven and
for.
nine. That was a fake
Exactly.
7-9. Yeah, it was garbage.
Exactly.
But yeah, like Tomlinson was just he might have been the worst player on the team yesterday, and he probably put up the worst offensive performance in all of NFL football yesterday. And when that happens, I don't care who your quarterback is.
I think the worst
Let me
player.
say this too,
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Like, I think a lot of people easily blame Flacco, and I know the chants were saying for Mike White,
They
but
should be
yeah, I don't think.
they should be chanting. They should be chanting Tristan Wirfs, because if we picked him, okay, he'd been in the lineup instead of a guy that can't take care of himself with
Back then.
Becton.
Yeah, let me just say this. Like, yeah, I don't think it was all Flacco's fault. I think, you know what you're getting out of Joe Flacco at this point. You have a guy that's not gonna not very mobile, but it's gonna, do some thinking dunk. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessarily it wasn't his fault that, the offensive line was letting up a lot of the pressure in the middle. I thought he did what he could. And then they tried to run the football. I mean, they were successful for the most part, but you can't just run it like all 3 downs. At some point, you're gonna have to throw the ball and put it in the air. So yeah, I don't think it was. I think a lot of people were criticizing. It's easy to criticize Joe Flacco, and easy to want the backup quarterback in there until he plays, and then you realize, hey, maybe it's not necessarily the quarterback's fault why we're the way that we are. The offensive line, I think, also played a role in the way the offense played yesterday too.
Yeah, I thought Braden Mann was the worst player on the field yesterday, Antoine. Especially that 20-yard punt. It just killed everything, man.
Yeah,
that was the nail in the coffin.
yeah. I mean, I think I saw PFF rated the Jets special teams like the 4th best in football yesterday, which I was a little surprised by that, but you can think whatever you want to out of that. Like, I don't know what more to say.
They weren't watching the game. That's why.
Between him and Zerline, yeah, I don't know what to say in regards to that.
So,
and you got anything for Antoine?
Yeah, just one question. What do you see? Like, how do you see this offense performing? This week, because obviously we're not gonna have you on. Prior to the game. Like, do you see this offense playing together? A good enough game. And stay efficient and not be 0 for 8 on 3rd down. In the game. How do you see this offense performing? Do you think there's a way that they try to make the game competitive and pull out a win because of the quarterback that they're playing? Like, what do you expect from this offense now? What you do at them?
I mean, I watched the game they played against the Panthers, and Brissett wasn't good either. But he made enough plays and relied on the running game enough between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb that they were able to squeak out the victory. I imagine that's probably similar game plan against the Jets too. He missed a lot of throws there, the receivers, but having that running game as a security blanket, I definitely think it's going to be key. So obviously the Jets have to. I think that's where it starts for me to be able to to stop the run and force him to get into 3rd and long situations and kind of make this an ugly game. And offensively, yeah, it's just about being able to protect Joe Flacco and be able to run the ball. I mean, they can run the ball and be able to stay out of those long yardage situations. And yeah, I definitely think they have a chance too. I just see a very low scoring game between both of these teams because you got 2 backup quarterbacks, teams that's going to want to run the ball. And the key is for the Jets is, can you contain Myles Garrett? and I don't know if they can. Like, I really don't. The Ravens, have a pretty solid defense, but now they don't have anybody like Miles Garrett, which I think should scare the Jets, and also they're fast too as well.
Yeah, Antoine, I thought before I let you go, I thought when they ran right, I thought Max Mitchell was pretty good in run blocking, man, especially that one play with Brees Hall. He kind of like sealed it off for him.
Yeah.
I thought he played pretty good considering, he got thrown in at the last second.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, at the time when I was watching them Sunday, I really didn't notice him. Which, in a way, I think that's kind of endearing quality about an offensive lineman. I mean, you see him out there, but he's not making any bad plays, which I definitely think is a good sign. And then I watched the game again today. I thought he did, good considering the circumstances. Just getting thrown in the fire. I mean, we talk about a guy that was, one of the best, tackles and, the Sun Belt last year, whatever you want to think about that. But, it was really liked at the Senior Bowl, and, the Jets, somebody that the Jets were fond on, and, deservedly so. And yeah, I thought he did a really good job. I was worried about him more than anybody else, but come to find out, it was more or less the interior line of the Jets that was more the problem, not Max Mitchell.
100% agree, Speedy. Agree with you all the way. And also, that was the one guy that I was 100% concerned about too. I was like, oh my God, Max Mitchell. He played really a hell of a game.
Yeah. So Antoine, appreciate you coming on, man. If you got anything else, hopefully we'll talk to you next week, and appreciate you supporting us as always. And thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Y'all take it easy.
Antoine, thank you as always, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was Antoine, his weekly spot. Ground and punt. You still on here?
Yes, sir.
All right, you kind of got me riled up here with mentioning Adam Gase, that he's been better than Salah. I mean,
it was just a jab. It was just a jab.
Yeah, I need to hear this, though.
I'm just telling you, bro, that the guy, I admittedly said that it was a fake 7 wins. I'm just saying.
Okay.
They both had dog shit rosters. Gase and Salah did. And, come on, bro. How do we not put in, like, Wilson for the third quarter? It's just.
He did play in the first. He did play, but that's on LaFleur. That's not on. I mean, Salah can override it, but I mean, that's on LaFleur, man. LaFleur's got to take some heat here.
I'm with you.
LaFleur pissed me off yesterday, big time.
I agree with you 1,000%. And you know what? I'll tell you this.
My bad.
That Tomlinson performance was so freaking bad, dude. It was so bad. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care if it's Bill Parcells. You probably would have yanked him if it was Parcells.
Well,
but no
ground
chance.
and punt. But who's your replacement? Dan Feeney? I mean,
I'm just saying that I thought
Van
Roten. I know. Listen. Everything you're saying is 100% right. But the point is that you're right. Who are you going to put in? But let me ask you. It says it right out there. He, out of all the linemen in all of football, he had the worst rating yesterday. So how much worse can you get, right? I'm just saying. And he's the highest paid offensive lineman on the team. And it's just frustrating.
But he had a bad game. Let's see if he bounces back. If it's a consistent pattern, obviously it's going to be concerning. But
a bad game is one thing. To have the worst rating in all of football.
The one thing I'm going to say about him, though, he's always been a good pro. I get it. He had a bad game. At the end of the day, it happened. And I don't expect the same thing from him, moving forward. But it is kind of alarming, the fact that he has such a bad game and that impacted, the game so much.
I'm getting like Tremaine Johnson PTSD from fucking Tomlinson.
No,
not at all.
That contract isn't even comparable.
By the way, did you see him and Quinton Williams go one-on-one in practice, and he didn't stand. a chance. They did a battle together. Like, hey, you wanna whatever. And they and Quentin Williams ate his lunch, ate his mother's lunch, and ate his father's lunch. He ate him alive. I hope I'm wrong, man. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I'll be keeping receipts on this for you because I'm gonna keep this one in the back of my mind.
Did I say I
But
hope I'm wrong?
yes,
Did I
yes,
say that? And I'm just telling you, the game was that bad.
I know, man. I'm exhausted from it still. I'm still like, bro, I was miserable all day. My body hurt. Like I just had this numb feeling in my calves, just like a dull thing. Like it was awful today, bro. Like I woke up, it was miserable out. Trust me, I sat through it yesterday. I got soaking wet. My throat hurts, everything. Ground and pun. Hold on one second. Let me get to Richie.
No, I was just saying the backup guard would be Nate Herbig. He's next on the depth chart guard position over Feeney.
Okay. Oh yeah, didn't they promote him? Or was he already?
Yeah, they promoted him. I actually thought like initially that one of the options could have been kick AVT out to right tackle and start Herbig at right guard. That could have maybe been the better lineup. But look, I think Max Mitchell played really well yesterday. I was really happy.
Same with me. Look, guys, the offensive line was pretty bad for the most part, so they got to improve. Tanad, if you don't have anything, guys, we're gonna close this up in a minute because it's been a long 48 hours with this team, and we got to start looking forward. Anthony, go ahead. If Tanad, Tanad,
No,
do
go
you
ahead.
want to say something?
Hey, no. Ant, go ahead. Ant.
Go ahead, Tanad. I'll go right after you, buddy.
Like I was telling Antoine, man, this is a must win. Like I feel like there's just so much on the line. Obviously every game is a must win for us because we don't get many of them. But yesterday was just really tough, just walking out that stadium. And I'm like, how are we expecting to go to other team stadiums and play better and win games if we're playing like this at home? It's tough it's really tough to watch. Yeah, so that's it. And go ahead, Ant, before we send everyone out.
No, just like I said, Petey, I spoke to you today personally. Said what I had to say on the lounge last night. I have my feelings on Salad. They're not going to change for what few things he did. It's not. Again, I just want to say I'm not throwing him to the wolves. I don't want him gone yet, but I am starting to question a lot of decisions that the guy is making. The last 2 days for him have not been great. The pressure yesterday, the pressure today.
Well, and too, it started with Becton's injury too. I know he was just relaying messages, but he butchered that too.
No,
He doesn't know how to handle the pressure out here. He doesn't.
I get that, but again, with that, Petey, that's being told to him. Okay.
Correct.
The stuff that he said, and I agree with you. He definitely got that wrong. But what I'm saying to you is that's being relayed to him. The stuff that he said yesterday about the players, Wilson, and mentioning all these guys' names, the stuff that he said yesterday, the stuff he said today, nobody relayed that to him. That was just him speaking from the heart. That's what I'm questioning about him. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If he benches Flacco, he'll gain a little bit of my trust back. If Flacco plays, I'm going to be livid. But now that I got it out of my system for 2 days, that's it for me. I'm not looking at it no more. I'm looking towards Sunday. Only thing I'm going to be hoping for, and I kind of feel a little bit better that he just didn't come out today and say Flacco's going to be starting. He wants to finish.
I think he did say it. I heard him on the K show. He said
Did he?
Flacco's our quarterback.
Oh, I thought I heard
somebody asked him if he'll make a change, and he said we're exploring all options.
Yeah, from what I heard, he said he wasn't. He said
He
something
said as
like
of
that.
now, Flacco's a quarterback. I heard it on the K show. Go listen to it.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he's making a quarterback change. But what I will say this: if Flacco has a bad first half, you got to take him out. And I hope that they
Okay, but see, that's my problem. That's my problem. If you see what we all seen yesterday with this guy, if you're gonna give this guy a half, if you're taking him out, you know what that means?
He's not starting week 3.
No, forget about week 3. You're conceding week 2.
Not really. It all depends on the score because you can still.
And I love you, bro. But if it was fucking Mike White in there yesterday, you know what you would have seen? A repeat of last year's Buffalo game.
Listen, no. Don't. I think Mike White would have performed better, as in not the yards, but I'm saying I think he would have been making better decisions and seeing some of those things that he saw yesterday. He would not have been so hesitant to be able to let the ball go like Joe.
I don't think Jacoby Brissett is going to be able to handle the pressure of the Jets defensive line the way Lamar Jackson was able to handle it yesterday.
No,
And
I
if-
agree with you
I
on that.
agree with you on that.
And if the defense comes out like the way they did, listen, I think this whole offensive line is on notice. Hard body. And if they get their shit together, they're gonna win the fucking game. It's not even gonna be close.
The offense need to perform. That's the thing that's holding me back from trusting this team as a whole. You know, the defense played really well yesterday. Couple things that did not, I didn't think that they really paid attention to, detail wise. But, certain things you can't really, complain about them. But offensively, we have to start putting points on the board. A game like yesterday, we might score 17 points and we win the game because all those turnovers could have ended up being, a couple of those could have ended up being touchdowns, and that prevents the Ravens from scoring. They ended up scoring on, I believe, 2 of those turnovers, and then they also scored on the one that, they
Tanad,
top of the fumbles. So
Tanad, it's even worse than the points. It's the fucking constant 3 and outs. 3 and out. 3 and out.
Well,
3 and out.
ground and punt. That's my point. I don't know if were you in here at the beginning when I spoke?
No,
he wasn't.
sorry,
He
man.
said he came.
Sorry.
Okay, so I want to add. I'm going to add. Did you speak to him on this, Petey? Because I don't want to repeat. I know you guys are trying to end. I just want to get to this real quick.
Go ahead, Ant.
No, go ahead, Ant. Come on, Ant. Let's go.
No. I rewatched this game today for the 3rd time on the one thing. I want you to give me. He had 59 pass attempts. Okay, right?
Yeah.
How many do you think were 3 yards or less?
I don't know.
Oh,
Out of
I'm
the
gonna wait.
attempts.
I'm gonna be honest with you. From being there, at least 24 of them were.
Okay, so Tanad
Tanad
wasn't
didn't
there
hear
either.
it.
Okay, what about you, ground and punt?
Listen. Before I'm gonna say I don't know, but let
Well,
me give you another answer.
Well,
Just to
wait,
give you
just
something.
ground and pound.
First of all,
We're trying to end this, so just answer it because we got 3 hands up real quick. How many
I
do
don't
you
know.
think?
I don't.
Just take a number.
15. 15.
No, it's way more than that.
It's 36 out of 59.
Yeah,
3 yards or
he had
less.
at least
For
20
3 yards or less. Go look at his throw chart.
Yeah, he had 19 passes to the running back and all of that. It's way too much.
I don't want to see that again. Listen, everyone keeps saying, oh, Mike White would have threw 3 or 4 interceptions. Did you see the Bengal game yesterday? Burrow threw how?
4.
Okay, and they should have won that game if the kicker wasn't bad. So I don't want to hear that. You can not one ball over. And Petey, this is it. I'm done after this. Not one ball under 20 yards, over 20 yards. The defense knows exactly what's coming. They're not afraid of the ball over the top. So the receivers can't do nothing. The running backs can't do nothing. They're putting pressure on him because he can't move, and they're not worried about a deep ball. That's why you can't quarterback.
Like what Petey was saying to me earlier, you got to put some of this on LaFleur too.
No, absolutely.
I mean, there was no touch. There's no. I mean, like they even.
It's
said
not
it,
some. It's not some. It's all on the floor. It's all of it.
Even said it that the Jets receivers, the offensive line couldn't block enough for the receivers to get open.
But
that's what they were saying.
Right, ground and pound. I was in the end zone and I saw a couple of plays and there were no guys open. He missed Davis on one, but there were a lot of times where they weren't open because the routes they were running were too long, and LaFleur didn't adjust to it. Terrence, come in quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, first, how am I coming over to you guys?
You sound good.
What? Noise.
Okay, no,
Good.
because when I first came on, I was in that room, and Tanaj, you kept telling me mute your mic, so I just
No,
wanted to.
Tanaj
Yes.
couldn't hear.
Yep. I couldn't hear
Okay,
either, so that's why.
okay, no problem. Man. All right. Um, all I wanted to say, really, and unfortunately, a lot of the people that were saying it, maybe they're listening, or maybe they'll hear about it after I say this. But there's 16 games left to play. I really don't want to hear about Sean Payton, after week one. Okay. I mean, I'm like Anthony just said, I'm not there yet. I will be. And there's no penalty for me agreeing with that maybe in week 14 or 15 if this thing becomes a disaster.
Yep.
So, but I'm not doing it. I'm not wasting valuable time talking about this, and it just seems to me that, with all due respect to Ant, I mean, it seems like the hosts are all trying to outdo each other. Maybe not these hosts, not you guys, but the other hosts are like trying to see who can be the loudest and who can be the guy that's like the most extreme about, like, let's get Salah out of here now. And I'm just not there yet, and I'm not, frankly, I'm not here to listen to that. That's what, I mean, I kept it short because there were many hands up for Will, so I kept as promised by Petey, I kept my questions short. But I agree. There's nothing. No, Lincoln Tomlinson's. He's not going anywhere, so he has to get better, and his pedigree indicates that he will. I don't know what the hell happened, yesterday, but yeah, I mean, Max Mitchell seemed to be the guy he was the one that we were most concerned about. And he turned out to be the guy that, yeah, he didn't have a perfect game, but we didn't, considering it's his first NFL game, he played pretty well, but to me, I'm just not here for this, but I will agree. Salah's feeling the stress. He doesn't have that first year pass anymore that he had last year. Everybody knows that this team is a lot more talented, and whatever about I inherited or Joe Douglas inherited, basically an expansion team. He has a team right now, and it has to do better than what it did last week. And as I asked Will, it's not, it wasn't just like, oh, because Michael Carter missed that fourth down pass and Brees Hall fumbled. I mean, they're doing things that losing teams always do, including the Braden Mann 20-yard punt, which is why I said yesterday, the people that were listening, he should be cut tomorrow, provided that they have somebody that they feel, and I'm hoping Joe Douglas has been monitoring this, that they can bring in to replace him. Because there needs to be a message sent to these guys that nothing is promised to these guys. I don't understand why Salah is defending veterans on a team that finished 4-13 last year. Nobody's job should be promised to them. And that means if Corey Davis drops another ball, then Garrett Wilson should be in there, as Kenny said, as often as possible until he makes a rookie mistake. And then you put Corey Davis back in there. Or same thing with Elijah Moore. And that's how you foster this competition. And if that means Michael Carter gets more touches than Brees Hall because Brees Hall fumbled last week, whatever it takes to motivate these guys to get them to perform better. That's it. Yeah, go ahead. But I'm just like all this other stuff about already talking about 2023 is window dressing.
Payton, bro. I'm not on Sean Payton.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is. If there's somebody out there, it's just not the time.
This is what I'm going to say, Terrence, right? You got to understand, other fans are going to be different than you. The people that think that the season is over after week one that is their own issue. I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's no way I'm gonna feel like that. When it's
Nope.
week 12, 13, you know, then I'll be like, oh damn, the season's over.
Oh, I agree.
Because and I'm not even asking, like, of course I want to make the playoffs, but it's just more of like I want to go into games and feel like, okay, my offense is definitely gonna put 20 points out there, and I know my defense is good, and they have a chance of keeping me in the game to be able to win it. You know, instead of, okay, I have to try to go out there and try to score 30 because I know I'm gonna give up 27. That's not the case. I don't think this defense is gonna get to that point this season, but I think the offense definitely need to help them out so it can make it easier. You know, I saw the energy from, you know, the guys on the sideline on, you know, after a couple of those turnovers, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not good. So Zach Wilson needs to come back. He needs to perform, and this offense need to find a way to score points because there's talent on offense at, you know, at
Yeah.
several things. You know, so
Absolutely.
to get it going, because I'm not gonna keep doing this, you know, going to games, and next thing you know, it's like there's no hope, you know, in winning it. But let me stop talking. Let's go to Rich real quick, and then we're gonna go to Jet for Life, and then Matty Ice. That's it, guys. I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes, so find a way to get your points across, and let's get the night rolling.
Will do. Get really well spoken. Really appreciate that. Personally, I think Strevler should be the backup over White, and I'd rather play Strevler over White. I just feel like when you have a backup quarterback with a limited skill set, give me the guy that's more athletic, that can make plays with their legs. He proved he could make plays with their legs. And I also think it gives you more of a offensive weapon. You can use the run option out of him. You can do maybe some quarterback design runs with Strevler. I feel like Strevler should be the backup over Mike White personally. And if they have to go from flat wide, I think they have a better chance with Strevler than Mike White right now.
Let me respond to that. My only thing with that is I haven't seen anything from Strevler in the regular season to say, okay, I have something good on tape that I can use. I know I can do that with Mike White because of what I've seen in the regular season. And if he doesn't play bad, then I go to Strevler. But I don't want to get to that point. That's my only reason why I would not give it to Strevler, because I have not seen enough tapes during the regular season to say, you know what, he understands our system. He can do really well in it, you know, and he's been practicing with these guys. It's completely different to me. You know, he was basically a fourth string guy in camp that didn't get, you know, many snaps in camp, and he was able to play in the regular season with the limited amount of plays that they were able to give him. Yes, but he has not shown me enough for me to say, okay, you know what, he can definitely play better with Mike White in the game, because the regular season is completely different than camp. And I'm pretty sure you guys can attest to that. I know a lot of people, you know, may want to see Strevler instead of Mike White, but that would itself would be my reason why I would not want to put him up there instead of Mike White.
Much less against the Ravens.
Exactly.
I wasn't saying with the Ravens. I was saying down the road, as opposed to like if they have to pull Flacco. But I get what your opinion is. I thought Strevler played Mike White. I understand the Mike White debate about him playing the regular season. I just thought Strevler played in the preseason, and I just like the athletic ability he brings with his legs, especially when you have a backup quarterback, just someone that can make plays a little differently, because you're not going to win with their arms.
Yeah, he would bring a lot to the offense, because when you have that type of guy, you know, who can run the ball, you know, you look at the way he's able to run the ball and make plays with his legs, you would love to have that, you know, in the offense. Let's go to Mighty, and then we're gonna go to Jet. What's going on, Maddie?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, look, out of respect to Petey before, you know, I was just asking Antoine a question, but now I'm going to give my take as a follow-up to the question, which was about the atmosphere at MetLife on the kickoff. You know, Antoine said it was great. You know, it was fired up. I beg to differ. I thought that was one of the worst football environments that I've ever seen. Like, I walked in there, Fireman Ed was trying to get everyone pumped up. First of all, why are they putting those two other idiots
They've been doing it. They've
next
been
to
doing
Fireman
it.
Ed? Just put Fireman Ed up there. I don't want to see that Jet Man ever again. That guy's a fucking loser. If you're in here, I'm sorry, but you're not fucking Fireman Ed. Get that guy off the screen and get the other guy off. It's fucking one guy, one voice. That's it. You know, and as it relates to, you know, I was a Mike White guy, but looking at this offensive line, if they said tomorrow that Strevler was going to get called up and he was going to play, I wouldn't be upset about it, because right now our offensive line is dysfunctional. And with the dysfunctional offensive line, sometimes you need a guy who could kind of deal in crisis and deal in chaos. And I feel like Strevler might be that guy, unfortunately. So, anyways, guys, that's it.
Should you change your name to Matty Fire today instead of Matty Ice? Because man,
yep.
Maddie, you've been bringing it today.
Well,
Listen,
this is
I love
I
it,
feel like
man.
I don't like feeling like a fucking loser in life, and I
I
don't feel
get
like
it,
that in the rest of my normal life.
bro.
I'm not a fucking loser, and I don't like feeling like this on a Monday. I
Bro,
want
I
to wear my
know.
fucking green hat to work. I want to put my fucking sport coat on and put my fucking green hat and go into the office. And instead, I feel like a fucking loser with this fucking team.
Bro.
Maddie, Petey, not to cut you off,
But by the way, I don't want them to fire Saleh. I like Saleh, and it's okay that he called out a few people. He's feeling the pressure. He should feel the pressure. Don't fire the guy. It's still fucking brand new. They just tore it down. They're building it back up.
what I was about to say real quick is that, like, I love the fire, man, from you. I love it. Like I said earlier, the energy to me at the stadium was not where it should have been.
Yeah, and
but that's just me. Like,
well,
I
bro,
go to football games. I'm not sitting my behind down for what.
but the problem is too where Ed sits, and that's he moved over there because you know why, bro. He moved over there because he's not going to get assholes over there that were throwing ketchup, like he said on the show a couple weeks ago, and spitting at him. He's with all the rich people that are paying $700 a seat, and they don't want to get up. Those aren't the real football fans over there.
That
They're
was
not.
only that
And
was only
Maddie, I scream when he says get up. Get up.
Look, I've been to sporting events. I've had some unique opportunities. I've been to some great games all over the country. I know what a great environment looks like, and it's not MetLife. And I want to spend the money. I want to keep seeing you guys before the games. That stuff is fun. I want to keep going, but man, it's a lot of money, and
But it's if you don't want to
it's
spend
bullshit, man.
Yeah, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, come sit up by me. It's $55 a game, bro. You could afford it.
Watching the Seahawks and Broncos, and you hear how loud the Seattle fans are. I'm like,
There's nothing comparable.
Are they louder than us?
And they're the
loud.
worst, and they're probably the worst talent in the league right now. And they fucking dominated with
It's
their
also
environment tonight.
it's also opening day, so I get it. Yesterday was pouring rain. I'm not making excuses, but if it was sunny, that place would have been electric, man.
Hey, PD. There's no way the stadium should have been, when you look at, the second and third level, there weren't that many people there, and there were plenty of Ravens fans up top.
You're right. There was like 15,000 empty seats because of the rain. There's no doubt. I can't even argue it. Let's get to. I got a little song when we leave too. So
Gino
Jets, go
dropping
ahead.
bars, I heard.
Hey, so when we came out, I don't really give a fuck about like who's in the damn stands. That doesn't matter to me. I'm worried about the field, but I get what y'all talk about. When we came out with them three tight end sets, the announcers even said, "Oh, they wasn't worried about. They wasn't thinking about this. They never saw this formation. I know the Ravens aren't ready for this. We spent a lot of money on these tight ends, and we didn't implement them barely any. And for me, if you going in them three tight ends in them big sets, you have Lawrence Cager, which is a pass catcher. He got bigger. He can block, but he can also run like a wide receiver. It's a little deception there. You can run out of that formation. You can pass out that formation. I understand people talking about Flacco, go ahead and bench him for Mike White. It had nothing to do with that. What I saw on that field was all Mike LaFleur. He got too happy with them wide receivers, and he wanted to showcase, oh, look at what I got. We were not in a position to do that with the offensive line in shambles like that. If he goes back to what he was doing at the end of the year, last season, I guarantee you we will put up points. He got too happy. And as long as he plays that offense like that, we're gonna see the same damn thing. We cannot keep coming out three wide receiver sets, 30-yard routes, 20-yard routes. And that's why he was dumping it off to them running backs. He was dumping it off because he got by the time Flacco stepped back, you saw plays where he steps back and he shoulder to shoulder with his fucking offensive linemen. Excuse
Yep.
my French, but it was
Nah,
fact.
you're good.
You need to put them tight ends out there and utilize them. If you're looking at the Seahawks game, you see the tight ends. They cause a mismatch, and they
Or
cannot cover them all type of
or
ways.
even do a quick slant off the
That's
ball
what I'm telling you. That
instead of
Tone
waiting.
built his career. Well, not his career. Well, that quick slant was awesome. We have too much speed the field for us to be running 30-yard routes. You saw Wilson get them little short passes or them crazy passes where he threw it to the sideline and he picked up about
Yep.
15 damn yards just on his merit by itself. So imagine if you
There were
put
so
blockers in
many
front of him.
plays. There were so many plays where Flacco didn't even get to do his third step. He was getting hit. It was
Yeah, I
just,
know.
oh God.
It's just
Hey,
he has to dial back that offense. That's all it is. You dial it back and you play with what you got. We
but
were
you
we
gotta
were
play
talking
the
about this
Flacco
all
strength.
last season about
I agree,
oh,
bro.
look at the tight ends. Look at all the tight ends we got. We're gonna run this, we're gonna run tight ends. Now all of a sudden we dropping back, waiting 30 yards to throw a pass. Get it together.
Yep.
One thing I must say, Flacco did not look the tight ends away much throughout the game. Whether it was play calling, also another thing that I did not see many audibles from him. For a veteran,
No, that's true.
you should have made more protection calls at the line of scrimmage, especially, when you have Justin Houston, you have guys like Calais Campbell, who's a force in the middle, you know, they have guys that can get to the quarterback. And your job as a quarterback is to be able to change protection at times when you see there's an opportunity for you to, based on the pressure that you've been, getting throughout the game. So I put some of that on him, but I do agree with you as far as LaFleur being responsible for a lot of it, based on play calling and him trying to be too cute with the game. Like the guys pointed out earlier, we understand you have receivers, but if you're going to put your receivers on the field, put your best receivers. You've been saying all offseason, Garrett Wilson, Elijah, and Corey Davis are your best receivers. Now use those three. Barrier should not have gotten that many snaps in the game. Cage
But
should not have been in the game for that,
I agree.
snaps. I get it. You want to put, three tight ends out there to be able to run the ball, but you could have put an extra lineman out there and your two tight ends and do the same thing. So there's a lot of questions, with the offense yesterday, and that's that like I said earlier, is just that's the issue that I have right now. Like it really concerns me, especially not having Zach Wilson, for the first few games. And I'm not trying to wait for him to come back in order for the offense to get it together. No, the O-line needs to get it together right now and to be able to help Joe Flacco out. And also Flacco got to make it easier on himself. So there's a lot of question mark with the offense, and coaching comes with that as well. So that's it from me, man.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much to say. It's just too much, to really say. So I'm not trying to hold
Well,
everyone's time
yeah,
up.
I'll do a space during the week at some point too, a little pop-up space. But appreciate all you guys coming on. Thanks
Thank
for
you as
coming.
well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks for coming to the hangar yesterday. See Big Mo down there. Big Mo, what up? But all the people I met yesterday, shout out to you guys. So I opened up the song with the Titanic because Jeff fans are ready to jump. So now I'm gonna close this with a little instrumental by the Flip Mode Squad. It's called Abandoned Ship. So if you want to do that, be my guest. But I'm here for the long haul.
Appreciate y'all, man. Enjoy your night.
This is some 90s stuff here, brother. Good night from the jet line.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, PD.
You got it.
When I call you at like 7 in the morning, you better.
I'll be up.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
As always.